Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm trying to figure out Rem's face because he looks like he's a little constipated. Is that what's happening right now? He can't hear me, but I'm pretty sure he looks constipated. If you have to poo, blink in the camera, Rem. Oh, the good life of gaming on a Saturday. Speaking of Saturdays, happy Saturday. You are listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 268. We are in... I don't even know if patch 8.3 is even relevant because technically we are just at the end of all things BFA for the most part, question mark. Not really sure. We know we've been away for a little bit, guys. That's all my fault. I'm going to take the heat for that one. I have just been exhausted. And to be frank, I did not want to get up and come to the computer and do the show 2 weeks in a row. And I'm sorry for that. But I'm not sorry because I needed a mental break. So, the good news is tonight we have a pretty content-packed show. We've got a lots to talk about. I did some research to help those that are returning. Maybe some that are new, some that are alting, so that you can make the most of your in-between expansion boredom, because I know it's starting to hit everyone. We have a lot to dive into, so go CC your kids, your spouse, your animals, in a nice, compassionate way, folks. Let's not be chaining them to water heaters and making them rub the lotion on the skin. Grab a stiff drink and get comfy, because we'll be right back.
In 2014, a crack commando unit was banned from trade chat for comments they didn't make. These men and women promptly escaped from the Stormwind stockades to the Iron Forge underground. Today, still hunted by the trolls of trade chat, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, then maybe you can hire the Pwnecast. Leader and brains of the operation, it's Belle.
I want tacos so bad.
Betrayer of the priestly order and huntard extraordinaire, it's Remedies. With the Pwnecast team assembled, let the battle for Azeroth begin.
Hello, people of podcast land. This is Winstalin speaking, and Winstead from the Technically PvP podcast, and you are listening to the Pwnecast podcast.
I just realized I wasn't muted that whole time. It's a really good thing I didn't say curse words, because that would be super embarrassing if I'm being honest, because that's how we do. I find it funny that the bot thanked Rem for his resub, and he is in fact
someone has to.
That's pretty great. Welcome back. If you are new to Pwnecast, my name is Belle. I apologize in advance for anything that we might say later that will likely offend one or more groups of people. But we're not really sorry, but we say that just so that you feel warm and fuzzy and don't say hateful things to us on Twitter, or do, whatever. Any kind of press is press in general, right? I did also bring the Red as Rohan with me. I did bring Remedies, who apparently is the indecisive, but, you know, he's a nerdy white male, so what else did you expect him to be besides indecisive? I did also bring, though their boxes are still in the wrong order.
Me.
Am I wrong? I did bring Envy, who seems to be hitting that goatee pretty. I'm not trying to.
It's not a goatee. It's just Aborigine hair.
No, it's the French mustache was a little.
It does look a little
flavor saver.
Well,
this is like one day. This right here, this is like 3 weeks.
welcome to the Ginger's life, because he tries really hard and he just looks like a dirty hobo.
He's a ginger. He's like a pale bastard. He's like, every time I watch Pan's Labyrinth, you get to that one eyeless son of a bitch who's just like,
Aww.
I think of
Don't hate on Dark.
Ginger.
He just looks like a dirty hobo.
What I'm going for, evidently, the Dobo Hispanic look.
The hard working
Paisa.
paisa.
I didn't
look.
say hard working.
Snakeskin boot wearing, 10-gallon hat, big ass belt buckle, motherfucker. Just kidding, guys. I'm kidding, joking. It's just a joke. We also have Brew, of course, who still has his own haircut. We in this house have no haircuts. There's no haircut.
Shit, I did my own. Okay.
Well, you. What can I say here that isn't?
I am planning to shave this week, though, so there's that.
You know, it's a big time in your life when you're planning an entire week to shave. That's
That's
how
some
you know.
dedication there, man. Like,
That's how
that
you know.
is...
You
Yeah, I don't
could-
know if I'm gonna have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Like, it's the weeks just.
It
I
could
don't know what's
just.
gonna happen.
You never know, right? Like.
So you're shaving. The fuck? Are you gonna go see a girl or something? There's only a couple reasons why you shave.
No, I wouldn't shave for that.
yes,
Dude, if it
yes,
takes you a whole week to shave, like, how thick is your fucking hair?
You would 100% shave for a chick.
No, I mean I look terrible without any facial hair at all.
No, you look clean.
terrible with it, but
Right? You look
but there's
clean.
somebody who has a fetish. Man. Don't worry.
You look clean and well kempt with said.
Yeah, it's such a weird word.
It's an accurate.
I know it's accurate. It's just still a weird word.
I don't know why. I thought you had a bong for a second, and I was like, oh, okay. That night.
It's been a rough 2 weeks at work. I'm not gonna lie. There were days I wasn't sure I was gonna survive.
Should we get the stash up? Just kidding.
Which ironically I found in my closet recently, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, Dark mentioned he still had it. I was like, really?
I had no fucking idea, and it's a lot. There is a lot.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I don't think it's still good though, but we'll see.
I don't think it goes bad when it's properly sealed and
I'll get back to you.
It's not a cheese. It doesn't age either. So
yeah, like, and it's pretty sealed.
Only one way to find out.
It's sealed in what you buy it in, and the seal tight rubber made.
just like that.
Not rubber made, but like, you know, the seal with the cap and the rubber around, and it's like.
Yeah, it's sealed enough.
That was the sound effects of you like popping the lid off. I hope everyone understood. What
I was thinking of a different one,
but yeah, there's
Mix
quite
the
a
mac and
bit.
cheese.
I don't know why there's quite a bit. If I had to guess, I would say
it's like started leaf blower.
maybe we forgot it was there. Maybe I don't really know. It's just there.
We'll find out.
But I should. That probably would have been really useful last week, to be honest. But I'm thinking I'm gonna take the Thursday and Friday off before the holiday on the 25th. That way I can have a 4-day weekend. If not, then my boss will still find a random reason to call me.
Fuck you. Look at it.
I mean, when you're a director, they kind of
Yeah,
direct things
fuck
at
you.
you.
I learned that.
Yeah.
I learned that pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Fucking my first week of director. Alex coming in our chat room. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good. I didn't sleep well, so just call Envy. That whole fucking week was just fucking brutal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one fucking day. It was like the whole fucking week. And what can I fucking do? I'm the fucking director. I can't say, my panties are the one. I need a day.
Yeah, when I take days off, it's really just from my team directly. So they have to just learn to deal with things on their own.
But other shit just.
Everybody else, my COO, everybody else just... Can you give me those TPS reports? Sure.
Can you
Got
come
it.
in on Sunday? Yeah,
Got it.
that'd be great.
And I'm on call every weekend anyway. I don't know that I've ever had a weekend where I wasn't on call. I think BlizzCon weekend's the only weekend I'm not on call.
Now it's kind of like, hey, we just need a.
Well, that's because drunk responses to fires is probably not appropriate. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe they'll be better.
Oh, it doesn't fucking matter.
Disney
Like,
messaging you guys, hey, there's a P1.
Like,
can you
luckily,
make sure you get off my dog
99% of the time, the only time I have to really focus being on call is the weekend after a release, because
Yeah, that makes sense.
several customers will break stuff because that's how they do. But
Yeah.
now Envy, whatever his name is, he's got 2 names, 3. Now you all know his slave name is if you didn't know before. He has joined the very elite and overworked League of Directors. Isn't it great? Don't you love it every day?
The only plus side of being a director is the people who I fucking absolutely, and none of them play WoW, so they're never gonna see this shit. But the people that I absolutely fucking hate are the ones that are just like now my peers, and it's like, hey, guess what, motherfucker? You remember that shit you didn't want to do for me last week? I'm gonna demand it now, and if you don't do it, I will tell our boss.
Yeah, I'll throw you under the bus, dry snitch even, because that's how I do. But I feel that on a very deep level. You know, the only time I really love my title is the rare times when I go to make a really big purchase, like when we traded in the truck, and I didn't have to alter my pay stubs. Like, I was sitting in the office, and I just looked at the ginger and said, wow. Because we haven't purchased a car in 5 years, right? So I just said, this is the first time I haven't had to alter my pay to be able to get.
I don't think you're supposed to openly admit that.
I told the sales guy, they don't care. The sales guys don't give a fuck. That's finance problems.
Sales, yeah, they just want it, but
They don't. And then he's like, well, the bank's going to want $8,000 down. And I'm like, well, the bank's not going to get $8,000 down. I'm like, but I have a letter from my bank that is the same bank you're trying to get me to use, and here's what they approved me for. So, and he was like, because, you know, in case people don't know, when you purchase a vehicle, the more money down, they're going to tell you it's all these reasons, which most of them are valid, like it's good faith for the bank, so it lowers your payment. But the sales guy gets a higher percentage of commission off the dollar down you put. That's the reason they try to get you to put more money down, because the sales guy, his commission increases per 1,000 you put down. FYI, in case nobody knew. The bank almost always will let you get away with like a $1,000 down payment, and we're talking maybe a $30 difference a month in car payments. So when you are purchasing, be educated, because stay woke, they lie. Got to go in there prepared. He did not get an $8,000 down payment from me. I was like, I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to give you my old shit, and I'm going to take this new shit. And he's like, can you do 2? I go, of course I can, but I'm not going to. Absolutely not going to. And like
yeah, get on your bike.
He looks at the husband and, well, yeah, like, I'm not saying it's, you know, the long term with interest and all that, like, but.
Wait, he looked at Dark and what a little. Oh.
Well, he just kind of looked and smiled, like, okay, I probably can't get one over on her. So, but I had trade-in, so.
You don't know, Belle.
Technically, I had trade-in that was my down payment ? So I wasn't gonna put $8,000 down when I just traded in a vehicle. So.
Yeah, I put like 7.5 down on mine. Most of it was insurance money because my car got totaled since I was rear-ended.
Yeah, if I didn't have the trade-in, I probably would have put 3 or 4 down. But, you know. But it's also the first time my interest rate is 8.3, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know that when I got my car 5 years ago, my interest rate was 18%. So
definitely a lot better than 18, but it's still not awesome.
Well, I don't know.
Then you need to refi.
Yeah.
No, my problem, gentlemen, is my credit. The fact that I got that with really bad credit is actually pretty astounding.
You could do something about that. Just try.
8.3 compared to 18 every other time I went to get a car. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, but this isn't a credit card we're talking about. 18% is a lot. 8% is a lot. I'm paying 3.5% for my car.
Yeah, you probably
like
have excellent credit.
Fuck no.
I'm sure you have better than 600.
It took years, sure, but
yeah.
like,
I don't
No,
have
it's-
that.
Even at my worst credit, which I'm nowhere near. I'll tell you, my credit was 590, and that was because I took a big hit for student loans. Fuck you, by the way, Bush administration. Anyways,
I feel you on that one, literally.
so yeah, my credit took a big hit, but I still went out and bought a brand new car. It was a 2008 Honda Civic Si at the time, 20 Gs, 21 Gs, 24 after everything, and my monthly bill was somewhere around $450 a month for a car that's 22. That's outrageous.
I don't have an extra $30 a month. I was using that as an example, Angie. I was saying overall the difference, not for me personally. I got the car at a really, really good deal, and it had some loaded features, so
That
it
looks
wasn't
nice.
the bed liner and the bed cover that does, we click a button and it does stuff. It's pretty fucking legit, I'm not gonna lie. The interior is really super nice.
You press a button and it does stuff.
Yeah, the interior is like really nice, but
Does it have wood in the truck?
no, I think wood trim is
Anybody who
very
gets-
ugly.
Yes, fuck you, Ram. Get the fuck out of here with
I
that.
think wood trim is very, very ugly. It isn't
Fucking Ram's the
my.
type of person that puts plastic on his fucking sofa like that.
No, I always laugh about that because during high school I was
Oh.
dating this lady and well, this chick, and her
Lady,
mom.
fuck, dude. High school?
Whenever
I feel bad for her.
whenever they're looking at cars, like, does it have wood interior in it? Like, that's so nice. I'm like,
No,
no.
wood is so ugly.
God.
Wood. If you remember his Yukon, there was wood trim in it, and it fucking made me crazy because it's. You either need to be all wood
No, yeah.
or fuck
see.
off.
They
But
do that too.
the wood trim in general is really ugly, and it reminds me of station wagons. So I don't like that.
Whoa! An old, nice, refurbished station wagon is nice.
For who? The Brady's?
So, the only wood
Visual,
trim that I
okay.
think would be awesome is like a restored Jeep Wagoneer. If you don't remember what that car looks like, it's the car that John Ritter drove in Problem Child.
That doesn't help me at all.
Go fucking watch Problem Child, fucker.
Uh,
There's what that little ginger kid who kind of looks like Dark. Probably was, for all I fucking know.
that was an ugly ginger, though. Honestly, that little kid was not a cute ginger.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
for all the judgment I'm getting about my interest rate and how much I'm paying for my vehicle, 5 years ago, I had to alter my check stubs to be able to get a car loan to begin with. And my credit was not even like, it was like 425. So the fact that I was even able to get a car loan that I wasn't paying $900 a month for was pretty astounding. So for me, I'm happy with my 8.3 that 5 years ago was 18%. I'm happy with the fact that I didn't have to pay more than $1,000 out of my pocket to walk away with the truck because I'm happy. So, that being said, there will come a point in my life when I will be even lower than the 8.3%, and then we will be able to brag some more. But given where I was to where I am now,
Comparatively, it's a
like,
lot better.
it was considerably better. So to me, I'm like, okay, we're making, my credit's still not 600 even yet, but I'm working really, really hard to, if I could stop owing the IRS, that would be fucking wicked cool.
Yeah, the IRS kind of fucks shit up.
Consistently. I went to go do my 2019 taxes and I owe $4,000. Haven't even done them yet. I just can't. I don't know. I changed my taxes so that I could pay more into federal, like, because I'm tired of having to owe money every year, and I just don't.
But on the short term, what can we do this week in WoW?
Well, I guess we should talk about World of Warcraft, but
We can come up with theories on how to save you some money with interest rates using the auction house as a fucking example.
that's actually a really good. I learn a lot of financial stuff just dealing with the WoW economy. And I also learned that you people who put really great pets
You
in the
people?
auction house, I said you people. You people who put pets in the auction house that are great quality pets for like 5 gold should be punched in the face.
Sounds like something Cactus would do.
I feel like
I undercut people by thousands on the pets. I don't even give a shit. I just take it.
but you're the reason that the economy is shitty in game.
When it comes to the Dark
New
Moon
pet,
Rabbits, for
one
sure.
copper.
No, I'm talking about like really good pets that should normally go for 10, 20 gold. 20k gold, I mean. Like really good pets.
I was gonna say I sell pets for like 5k, 10k, and I sell them.
Then you see them for 5 gold. Not 5k, 5 gold!
Well, then you take that and flip it. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
Not when there's 13 other people who followed the first jackass that did it.
Buy them all for
Well-
5 gold and resell them.
I shoot in the dark and
Well,
just...
Honestly, he might actually. Well, now that I think about it, he might be playing it because with the new system, it automatically puts out a equivalent buyout. So they're probably trying to get people to just fall in line and then flip all those.
I'm sorry, it does what?
Whenever you automatically just throw something in the auction house, it puts whatever is what the lowest is. Like it puts what is equivalent, and then it just posts it. If you don't mess with like the buyout. Or
Yeah, but it shows you. So, like, you have a brain. You see. So I put it in there for the normal price it should be, hoping that when those other guys' auctions go away, mine's still left sitting there at the regular price.
Belle, I'm someone that doesn't play the auction house. Whenever I sell a pet, like I said, I undercut by thousands. I don't give a shit. Just
You're
take
such
the
a
pet.
twat. You are a twat.
I
Rem just wants to
sold
sell
the
shit right away.
the
do
yeah.
some shit.
I sold the Egbert. Like someone had it for like 5, 10, 20,000. I sold it for 4,000. I was like, just take it.
You're what's wrong with America.
Probably.
You are the reason. But I undercut too, but I don't. I'm that annoying person that does it for like 6 gold. Just because. But I don't do like 20,000 under its value because
Oh, I don't go that insane. I'll go like maybe 5,000.
Then-
nothing more.
the price is just your soul. So guys, let's
Just
talk
make
about
it look appealing.
well, like a banana peel or
Yeah,
let's talk about the weekly
it's loaded of potassium. So.
That was just terrible and delayed, and I expect better of you. Let's talk about the weekly reset on Tuesday, May 12th. The weekly is going to be the
Thank you,
Arena
Angie.
Skirmish bonus event. Get in there, get your arenas. The PvP brawl is my favorite of them all. Okay, it's my second favorite because my first favorite is Packed House, but it's my second favorite, which is Gravity Laps.
This is my third.
It's your third. What's your first and second?
First would be Arathi Blizzard, and then Packed House.
So I think Packed House, it's tough because Packed House is definitely my first. So maybe it would be between Gravity Laps and Arathi Blizzard. I really do like Arathi Blizzard. I
What
also
I like about
love.
Packed House is it just chaos. Like it's like who can die first.
Yeah, it's just a free for all.
Yeah, that's what I like.
It's
about
like you
it.
walk into a bar and you just start punching everybody, friend or foe. You don't even care. You just punch everybody.
I'm gonna. That makes it gives me an idea for a brawl. I'm gonna email to Blizzard.
Like the bareback brawl.
No, like it's gonna be bar brawl, and it's gonna be in a bar with like 5 people, and they just go at it.
No weapons, they just punch each other.
Yeah, but I want to like smash a tequila bottle on the thing and cut them.
You have
Just
to
get
have
a bunch of
tequila
improvised
bottle first.
weapons.
I do have to have a tequila. I do have tequila somewhere. I think it's downstairs. I don't actually know.
Is it the one from BlizzCon or
Allegedly.
allegedly?
It's one that I don't know how I acquired it, if I'm being honest. But
Probably the one from BlizzCon.
It's probably my fucking bottle, honestly.
first of all, don't try to accuse me of stealing your motherfucking alcohol. I don't gotta steal your alcohol, okay?
No,
we
that's
have running
Jim.
water, Rem.
That's
Can afford my own.
Don't get me fucking with someone else. That's Jim. that
Does
steals
Rem
alcohol.
not have running water?
I mean, he is sitting pretty well.
The plumbing here is questionable, but it's, it's okay.
You know, it's funny, Rem, we had a conversation about this a few days ago about a certain somebody who probably doesn't shower,
Oh,
lives in the
who's
same
that?
state, and yeah, it's probably roasting and smells pretty rank. You
I
know
don't
this
live in
conversation?
California.
Arizona.
No, I'm saying I don't live near. it.
Which one? There's several we could be talking about. Like, you're gonna have to narrow it down.
I said shower, not shower.
Oh, not share. Oh. Well, still, though, I don't really know what the hygiene habits are in between, right?
I mean, Beta probably still showers. It's probably the golden variety from what I understand.
I hear there's good money in that.
Except he does it at a bathroom in Outback and just falls asleep.
Oh. Well, who am I to judge what you do with your $20, right?
I mean, $20,
$20 is $20. Also, Balloon Festival, May 10th through the 13th, so tomorrow through the 13th. I did this, I think 2 years in a row now. This will be my 3rd year. There's balloons all over the place. You just open up your map and you'll see the X marks the spot. The majority of them are in like Suramar, High Mountain, Stormheim, Azuna, Oldum, excuse me, we've been saying it wrong our whole life. Crystal Song Forest. I think there's like 2 other places. The really cool thing is being with the opposite faction when you're on the balloon ride and you're just like chilling, or being with your own faction and it's a random and you're just like, nice night for a balloon ride, and you just, ride off and do stuff. It doesn't bring a whole lot of value to your life, but considering that you could probably spend... I
guess for the aesthetics,
Like, you could be spending that time picking your ass. Instead, you could just take a balloon and enjoy instead of picking your ass. Or do both, right? Like, I'm not here to judge you and your life. Maybe I am. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about the brawl, though. I remember Rem saying something, and then when I was doing show notes this morning, I, had a second wave of excitement. Because I'm gonna make the ginger. Pretty sure he did it with us the last time it was up, though, and I seem to remember you guys, we kept focusing,
well, what's cool about it is that it shoots you up so high is you can go straight to any base you want. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah,
it just adds another flavor.
Especially if others chose to stay in their same spot. So, for us, when the 3 of us are in Battlegrounds, we help get all the bases, and then we go Zerg, the 3 of us, in the Hive Mind Mount, which is fucking legit, because rogues come up to bases we're sitting at that we just took and think they're going to get a meal in just Rem, and then 2 other mofos pop out of his mount. We got that idea from Angie. We
Surprise,
can't even take
motherfucker.
Like, Angie has no idea the positive impact that she has had on me.
That's all credit to Angie.
Literally on a daily basis.
Like, oh my god, it's so good.
We have a blast, which is pretty great. So, guys, let's talk about 2 random hotfixes that I thought were important to mention. Players can now restore deleted characters every 7 days versus every 15. Not a huge deal, but I mean, if you drunk deleted all of your characters one night, Akoni, rip, it's good to have.
I need to reach out to him, actually, now that you mentioned
Yeah, he's just busy being a dad, probably.
I know, but I miss him.
Also, the faceless masks, I'm not going to name them all because ain't nobody got time for that. They can
Words are hard, I understand.
They can no longer be sold to a vendor. I didn't know that they could be sold to a vendor.
I mean, why would you?
Maybe for golds, I don't know, but maybe players did it on accident.
No. So after some of the runs, you would literally still have them in your inventory, even though like you were out of the vision and everything, and you could sell them. There was like 5 or 10 gold a pop.
That's not worth it, though.
No, it was like 1 copper.
Oh,
I was staring at mine
that's
last week.
Yeah, I just put that in my bank, and I was like, okay, you can sit there forever.
Just added to the list of legendaries that broke my heart in Legion and all the other shit that I'm stuck with that I can't remove because...
Yeah, I still don't have a Sifyu sitting in my bank. Fuck that, Rain. Okay.
I have it. Do you want mine? Come on, that was funny. Come on. Okay. So now let's talk about some quick news items. So, Blizz 1 quarterly call. A lot of people, when I was going over the PowerPoint, a lot of people in the comments, both on the tweet and on the post, were like, why do we care what happens on their quarterly call? Well, I'm going to tell you why. The reason that it matters, I won't say matters. It's good education for you to get a bigger picture of what's actually happening in World of Warcraft land from a business perspective. Oftentimes, it helps you see a different picture than the ones that the big dick streamers and fake ass influencers are posting all over Twitter and throwing up and giving you misinformation or giving you their genuine point of view that is maybe more toxic, or maybe they don't understand that not all people look past what they say to investigate themselves. They kind of take them at exactly what they're saying.
Face value. You know.
This kind of gives you a little bit of a larger picture in terms of feeling more stable in the way that the game is going. And that's all it does, really. It's not going to make the game better. It doesn't give you all this huge insight, but it does help you see what the community base looks like. If you see a ton of people that are like, I stopped subbing a long time ago, and you see all this stuff on the forums about I unsubbed, you can kind of, like, sometimes you might feel a sense of panic, like, shit, everybody stopped playing. And even if your own, like, if your group of friends stop playing and all of that, these quarterly calls, they give a little bit of insight as to what's happening on a business side. So the important thing to note, which you guys can, check out the presentation, but the important thing to note is, World of Warcraft is still increasing its player base. It's probably a combination of Shadowlands and Classic. There could be many reasons, but I don't care about those reasons. I care that they are saying that there's double the player base. So I don't care where the player base comes from. I just care that there's double.
On that little note, even in our small community of, like, our Riders of Rohan, there's been 10 to 20 people that have joined the guild recently, whether they stay or not, that say, like, oh, we've come back, or I'm starting to play again, or I'm brand new. So, I mean, there's still people coming back, whether you're poisoning the well or not. There are still people that are joining the game.
Yeah, for sure. And, a thing I've learned over the last few years about guilds and activity, I had to take a step back from a lot of things to handle my life, and even on a daily basis now. I lose members all the time and have pretty consistently. I get them randomly, but I don't have time 24/7 to entertain anyone. And for me to be the glue that holds a guild together, it's ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. You got to take charge of your own fucking destiny, man. And if you want to be a part of the guild, then you be a part of the guild. If you don't, then take the tractor to another, to greener pastures. But I've had to learn that lesson, because people think that because you're not online all the time that, oh, your guild's dead, or that means this and that. But I can't give a fuck.
Well,
I truly can't.
That's unfortunately, that's how it is in most communities.
It's sad, isn't it?
One thing that bugs me though is, let's say your slave name, but Envy, I and many of the people in the guild are trying to get people active either in PvP or doing mythics or helping people out. And one problem too is when you join a guild, they're not there to be your crutch. Like, I have no problem helping someone becoming either a better player or learning about something or anything like that. But when all you do is expect something and then you don't get it and then leave the guild, like, that's not helping you. That's not helping the guild. That's not doing anything.
I saw that a few months ago, actually, and was kind of annoyed about that, to be honest.
And as someone who's done a lot of recruitment, I interview a lot of people, and I chat with them in Discord, where I meet them either from Reddit or I meet them from the recruitment Discord that a lot of really awesome people run. They, it's like, well, how many people are online in your guild at all times? I don't know, dude. It varies, right? Like,
if you were online all the time and you maybe did a second or third raid that you wanted to run, and you maybe built another group of whatever you guys want to do, and you took charge and did your own thing, because you don't need me to approve whatever the fuck you're doing, as long as you're not being a chode, like,
right?
Maybe there would be more people, right?
And honestly, like, a lot of guilds in WoW, aren't as active in guild chat anymore, but we have so many different ways to be interconnected as a guild outside of the game, whether it's Discord, Twitter, Facebook. There's so many other methods of communicating, and a lot of us, are still at, a lot of us are still home. We're just playing other games. If you want to run a Mythic Dungeon, just, go in the Mythic Dungeon channel and be like, hey, at Mythic Plus, anyone want to run some dungeons? And you'll probably get, 5 to 6 people biting to come help you out.
I spent so many years being stressed out about being a guild master and stressing out over every person that left and stressing out over whether or not I could provide rating for my guild or whether or not I could provide people doing professions with my guild and whether or not everybody in my guild was happy and whether or not I could make all their fucking wildest dreams come true. And that was a good way to be, and I'm really proud of that part of myself. But God, was it just unforgiving and depressing, because to be perfectly honest, which this isn't a surprise, Cash is probably going to watch this and this isn't a dig, but when Cash and crew took everybody out of my guild, I almost didn't recover. And it wasn't for any other reason other than I thought, why didn't you just build a fucking mythic team in my guild then? Like, why did you have to take everyone out of the guild and go fuck off somewhere? Why didn't you just say, hey, I want to build a mythic team and can I do that? Like, you think that geography was the factor, and it isn't the factor, right? That isn't the factor, which, so we're clear, I'm not bitter. I'm not upset or angry or any of those things. I love Cash to bits. I love all of those guys to bits. But it was that moment that I said, okay, I really can't keep hinging every happiness on whether or not I've got people. I just need people to be okay with it. And I do. I have a whole group of people. A whole group of people that get on and run mythics and do shit 24/7, and they don't need me for it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Even though I know Cactu and Bean Dip would love to have me, but I'm saying, like, we have people that do stuff and they don't rely on the guildmaster to be the one to do it, and that's very freeing for me as a person.
I have no input on this because I'll just get triggered.
Well, parsing is everything for sure, and it's how we decide how you are as a human, which that's okay. So yes, you
and she knows all.
Laser, you need to make sure you keep up on your parsing. I want to see purple next to your fucking name on the list.
Side note,
okay?
I'm happy Angie had a happy ending to her.
What was her? Can we get an update? I feel like the minds want to know your update.
Motherfucker, did you just hear yourself? I'm glad Angie had a happy ending.
Oh my!
I'm just like fucking about with like this Apple Watch wrist thingy here.
Oh my god! Now I'm embarrassed.
Don't tell
Did I just
Corey.
fucking hear what I fucking hear?
Tell Corey. God bless Rem. He does not know what he says.
Oh, you naive bastard.
That's amazing. That was just classic. So, the good news is, quarterly call, WoW's doing monetarily, they're in a really good place. That's all that matters.
I am kind of like, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious that they didn't outright call it out in their PowerPoint here, but they did say, hold up, I'm looking for it. World of Warcraft, after doubling in the second half of 2019, WoW's active player community increased, true, further in Q1, as the team continued to deliver more content between expansions than ever before. I'm a little triggered on that statement. Content! More content than ever before. Motherfuckers, no. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Blizzard people, but I know you guys work hard and everything, but this wasn't the biggest content release you guys have released. I'm just stating that as a concern.
You don't think so? You don't think all the patches?
Absolutely not. No.
You think it just looks big because they hype it up, or because you have stuff to do?
That's my whole life story.
There was really nothing of value for me in 8.3 other than rating, maybe the new season, but the content was not the greatest, I think. It wasn't the worst, but not the greatest. Number two, you called out that there are a lot of players coming back. You didn't outright just say due to COVID-19. And then you get to the very bottom of the list here.
Jesus.
Get to the very bottom of the list.
Almost died right now.
Overwatch engagement increased meaningfully in March as its latest seasonal event coincided with stay-at-home effects. So yeah, Overwatch is doing better.
I mean,
But that's also
they're not
because
wrong.
The new season started
I didn't know.
at the same time.
Was Overwatch in
Conversation.
danger of? I'm gonna eat really old.
Let's face it,
Is
WoW's
that
alive
bowlers?
because Candy Crush is keeping it alive.
Well, I spend some time in the toilet in Candy Crush. I'm not gonna lie.
Mina.
What was that one game that you played religiously before you got into Star Trek? It was Panda Pop or something?
Listen, you have to save the fucking pandas, man. You have to
But no,
save the pandas.
I mean, Envy, you
I
have
hate
a
you.
really good point, right? Like, if some people,
I
they
hate
might
you.
think it's a lot of content because a lot of people are doing it and still doing it, but it's because it's a never-ending cycle. It is just this whole thing that feeds into itself, right? Like, you want to do high-end rating or you want to do high-end Mythic Plus, right? So then you need to get corruption. Well, to have the corruption that you want and to have all of it and wear it all, you need to do visions to level up your cloak and do all this stuff. And visions even reward corrupted gear depending on how much you
I
do.
heard that the
They-
Five Mask was the best gear in the game.
reward
So.
the best gear.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Deirdre.
But then to
I
get
did hear
into
that
those,
too.
you can only do those a certain number of times a week. But to get the max amount, you need to do your dailies every day. You need to do the minor visions every day. You need to do all the weekly assaults, and everything just feeds into it. And then it's like, okay, we hit this wall again. Well, I guess we need more corruption or gear. And then you go back. You just keep funneling through the same cycle over and over and over. So it looks like a lot of content, but it's the same content that just regurgitates itself. And I'm not saying like the
Isn't that what
content is
Mythic Pluses
bad.
are? And you guys are obsessed with those. That's like your jam, isn't it?
No, that's where I get to flex my EP.
But it's the same content over and over, just at a higher difficulty with each key, right?
Well, I think the difference lies in the dailies and all that. It's
Yeah.
daily. Mythic Plus is your. I mean, when you look at the details of it,
difference-
yeah, it's exactly the same. But you're talking about like
the
pushing
difference
the
to me-
difficulty on these keys, whereas
Yeah.
you're just
What's the difference
but-
to you, Envy?
The difference to me is that you got your static content, which is I'm gonna roll out of bed in my underoos, come over here, play WoW, do my dailies in Udon, do my dailies in Panda, do whatever the fuck I need to do, get my rep up so I can finally get my argument through.
Yep, you need the argument rune.
But anyways, that's one aspect. Then there's Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus, you need 5 other people, not just yourself, because you can do the static content by yourself if you choose to do so. Mythic Plus, I either need a pug or I need to talk to somebody, right?
Right.
So you get your group, you do your Mythic Plus, gets more difficult and difficult, yada yada, right? You're at the point where you're clearing 16, 17s. Like, cool. You're not getting any better gear, because it caps out at 475, but you get that satisfaction that, hey, I just beat my fucking time.
Yeah.
Not to mention, Mythic Pluses also are, I won't say 100% instant gratification, giggity, but you get loot right away. You can or you can't. In Mask Gear, you can only do that, every 3 or 4 days if you're lucky.
Because you need the
vision.
you need the
with the
vessels,
way
right?
with the way they changed the coalescing too. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, you don't have to do the dailies every single day. Just make sure you're on for the major, minor, and the other minor. That will get you all you need to do.
Oh my, all this minor talk.
Let me tell you something, guys.
I'm not being Dip K. Calm down.
Let me tell you
Could
something.
have fooled me.
I made
And
a
another-
decision that changed my life. And this decision is I don't
You like
do
women now?
No, that was a college
Oh.
thing, but no.
Photos by chance? Polaroid, though.
It was the age before photos and social media, so none
They
of
got
my
those cameras that spit that shit out.
none of my past indiscretions live anywhere on the internet. Thank God.
You still got the camera roll? They got Walgreens with that shit.
It's actually a really good question. So yeah, the daily stuff, it's grindy. Some stuff's necessary, some stuff isn't, right? Some stuff nobody really wants to do, and this is regardless of the content you're doing. Sometimes the daily stuff sucks. I made a decision to not do cloak visions. I made a decision to not do assaults. I made a
Are you-
decision
Is
to
your
not.
kid 13 yet?
No, I
Was
made
it 12?
I made a decision to not Mythic Plus. I made a decision to not dungeon. I made a decision to not raid. I made a decision to not do anything that made me unhappy. So the only daily grind I have is my honor and my conquest. And that is fun because I get to kick people's faces in. Sometimes I get mine kicked in more, but whatever. But
You wouldn't get your face kicked in if you ran with us. We finished our conquest, what, in the first 3 days of the week?
well, I'm going to get my face kicked in regardless. I'm a
But it
warlock.
took you 3 days.
Well, you know, I have to go to work.
We had that shit done in like a
feed
day.
the pugs. and
One
stuff.
evening we were done.
Well, within an hour or two, you should be able to. Never mind. I'm not gonna-
So,
Also, I'm waiting for my druid.
but
healer
the
to use,
the,
but-
the daily thing, and they're feeling like there's a lack of stuff to do. I think that probably, well, I'm sure it affects PvP folks because you're forced through that PvE route in order to be able to PvP, which is
For right
why
now, yeah. We're Belle and I are going
I
to be.
swear to
testing
fucking
PvP,
God, if Blizzard
but,
screws
yeah.
this up, I am never gonna bounce back. I need this to be
So,
right.
On that note, I don't remember if it was like a month ago, 2 weeks ago. All the days blend together. But someone made a relevant post where it's like, there isn't anything to do. There's just nothing you want to do. There's stuff to do, whether it's PvE or PvP,
Right.
but it's.
Right.
mean,
I
if you're
wasn't
not
logging
enjoying
in and
it,
playing
then
ever,
okay.
even when I had time, because there wasn't anything fun for me to do.
Yeah.
I now have something fun for me to do, and barring my house not being a zoo, and Rem FaceTimes me when it's time for PvP, and he sees one child's running around, running around naked, the other child screaming in the background, the grandbaby's freaking running over my toes, screaming like a banshee, the ginger's yelling at one of the boys, the oldest daughter's bitching, the other's texting me. It's just, he's like, so PvP? Sure, let me kill them all, and then I'll be ready.
Let me help you.
But I do
help you.
I do hope that, going into even just the in-between, right? Like right now where you kind of have to self-entertain, especially if you're a raider, right? Because we have a lag between, the beginning of the expansion and another raid tier. So it's one of those things where we really need to hope they deliver a good pre-expansion.
I mean, I'm a self-starter, so...
But you're kind of reliant on being able to do that. And at this time, people are going to be logged in less, or, they're going to be in and out at different times. They're going to be focusing on different things. And that's that's really honestly what happens. I don't really need to be entertained anymore in between expansion, because I can play other games when I'm not PvPing that gives me a chance to play those when I wouldn't normally play them, especially when a new expansion drops. So, like, those things for me, not that big of a deal, but I do think the life of an expansion, it should be, towards the end is always where we suffer. I wish they would get better about that.
Since ever, there's always been a content drought when you're in between anything, but one thing I was just thinking about that I don't want to happen in Shadowlands is, right now, they're making systems that make you play, not want you to play. I don't want something that wants me to just focus on my playtime on this character. I want something to focus on something I'm going to enjoy, whether it's Conquest Finders coming back or PvP. Fuck off, fly. There's just a lot of things where I want to play the game. I don't want to have to feel I just fucked that all up. I don't have to feel like I have to play.
Yes, I don't want to feel bad because I missed an entire work week of not logging in and do stuff, not because I didn't have the time, but to be quite frank, I was fucking tired after work, and I just wasn't interested in dragging my sorry ass all the way upstairs, sitting on Bertha, when I literally had a long-ass day at work. That was not on the top list of things, not because I don't want to, but yes, because I don't want to. I'm fucking tired. So, and then I feel bad because I didn't do a thing that I know I was going to be sad for the next day that I didn't do. I want a nice balance between accountability, so I have a reason to log in, and not feeling bad because I couldn't. So a balance in it not being so hurtful when I miss a day of something, right? Or when I don't have time to do something, but also where I want to log in. I don't want to avoid it because I feel like it's going to be a chore.
And from everything that I've been reading from other streamers, from other content creators, you know, that's why I'm like super hyped for Torghast, right? Because it's something that they're like, hey, we don't care if there's rewards every time we go in. Like, you can cap the rewards. Like, we just want to see how far we can go. Like, this is really fun.
It's pretty dark in there.
Yeah.
I haven't been in there, but I seen some screenshots posted on Twitter, and I was like, that's some dark shit.
It looks fun.
Yeah.
I was going to test it this week because I haven't had the chance to, because I was focused on like doing current stuff. But someone posted that there's keys now. Like they're talking about adding keys to the system where it
like
kind of
key
gates you.
Remix to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. No.
Jesus Christ, no.
What kind of keys
like,
you talking
no.
about, mofo?
So the way I wouldn't mind it working is if you could go in anytime you wanted, you could run it, you could just see how far you get. But like if they had a currency where, you know, something like Vessels where you would go in and that was like you got 2 to 5 of them a week, depending on how much content you did. And then you got your loot. Like, those were the runs that you got your loot, you do your best. And then if you still want to run it, you want to help your friends, you want to do it because you think it's fun and want to see how far you can get, then let us go in there and see how far we can get.
I honestly just want to see all the weird shit in there. So, like, if you're going to pug up with me, just know I'm probably not going to give you any effort because I'm going to be touristing.
Well, what I like about the fact that with Torghast is the anima powers, like, it's insane. It's supposed to be just fun, and I like that.
Yeah. Like, you want to go in there just to play it and you know, like, you feel like you're doing something entertaining on your character. People spend like 5 hours in a single run. Like, that's pretty damn impressive.
And not having any type of
Can't sit still for 2 hours though.
even if it's not a soft timer or like with visions, I mean, technically I don't use a single orb during one, but you don't like there's still a soft timer where if your insanity runs out, you're kicked out. I like the fact that it can go on forever. You guys could just push however much you want.
I also want to remind everyone that the legendary cloak corruption resistance cap is increased to 71. So, yay for those of you
plus your 10 from your necklace if you're
give
smart.
shits. And game controller support also is coming to Shadowlands. This was actually, I think, like 2 weeks ago, but we didn't have a show. But I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they added official.
Yeah,
it's in the UI now in alpha, which is. These things are good.
Well, when was it? I know one of you guys would remember, but it's like Wrath or Cataclysm. If someone is playing it either with there's a DDR pad, and then also someone is playing it with Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Both of those happened. It was a while
Guitar
ago,
Hero
though.
or Guitar Hero was recent because someone was literally like topping the damage meters with a Havoc Demon Hunter in a raid.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, like they were in like a mythic raid and like just doing their full rotation with Guitar Hero guitar.
I mean, you could roll your face across the keyboard and do good with Demon Hunter.
That's DK's, I thought.
No, they graduated to Demon Hunters now.
Yep.
So I want to talk about 2 things. One of the things which most of you who've watched the show for a length of time know one of my favorite things to do, even throughout the week, is when I'm in the potty, I like to read the forums. I know it's really weird. It is what it is. You're going to have to be okay with that confession. I find...
Is that like a newspaper?
It is. I get a really good sense of the large mass community and how either fucking smart they are or how fucking dumb they are. But it lets me know what I'm working with in terms of how people are feeling about a certain thing, and finding the good bits and things that I want to cling to because I think it's a good idea as well, and I want to bring in on a forum post to give the devs like, hey, this is great, whatever. So in my forum trolling, I need to get back to the troll post of the week. That was a good hit. I'll put that on my agenda for the next
bullshit of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that.
I missed that segment.
I'll put that on the agenda because I missed that. We got some real real
There's
good,
been a lot of
good
dumb
ones.
stuff on the forums lately.
Yeah, we got some good dumb ones. Those were just the top of the food chain for humans. So the first thing I saw was the Pathfinder changes in Shadowlands, and how all the people that got the previous Pathfinders are fucking throwing up all over the forums. Literally throwing up about how dare Blizzard and what about their work and all that work for nothing. Let me break it down. What?
It was just funny because someone actually posted about that on like one of the Facebook groups, and I just woke up, so there's no filter, and I fucking was like, shut the fuck
So,
out of this whole post.
let me say this as best as I can with my best pumpkin spice Britney
Gross.
smile. No, your work wasn't for nothing because you got the joy and awesome feeling of doing a thing. No, it doesn't matter that moving forward, people don't have to get the Pathfinder. It doesn't make all the work you did for nothing because it gave you something to fucking do with your $15 a month. Period. No, it's not shitting on you. No, it isn't terrible. No, it isn't awful. Yes, you're okay to be upset about it and you're okay to feel slighted about it. But guys, of all the things to be angry about, this is not one of them.
I mean, even feeling slighted or hatred about it, that's such, you're a fucking child.
Did I cry when they nerfed the fucking Warlock quest line? No, I didn't cry. Did I cry when I spent 47 fucking official wipes? We're not going to talk about the unofficial wipes, what I was still learning. I don't cry about people that got the Green Fire quest that to me didn't earn it because they did it after said nerf. I don't complain. It doesn't negate what I did. You want to know why? Because I'm fucking awesome. Because I am a very small group of people that did it when it was actually difficult to do. And I feel good about that.
Well, it makes sense that
you got achievement too. They don't.
That's true. Are they crying about the Pathfinder achievement itself? Because that's not really an achievement. I don't
it's
go...
a feat of strength, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like...
No, it's in the exploration one, but it's doing... All you have to do is play the fucking content. Like, shut up.
How dare they change the 5-year-old requirement? And that, Angie, you brought me to my next damn point. I'll swear to God, folks, this was not planned at all. This was not scripted.
This is rigged.
The second part of that is... As Angie put, that is absolutely correct. Guys, as we evolve, the game evolves. Sometimes it's good evolution. Sometimes it's a dumpster fire. It's a fucking crapshoot, guys. We don't know which way it's going to go. Yes, it is, in fact, a very old requirement that... I'm going to say this again really nicely, that literally 90% of the community bitched about in the first place because they didn't want their flying gated behind having to jump through hoops.
I still remember the first time. So, like, I took a break in WoD just because when I started at the start of the expansion, I was mad about where Paladin was. And then I came back at the end, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get my flying. And, like, I was like, I whispered to my buddy, and I was like, hey, how do I get my flying? And he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, like, where do I go to buy it? Like, in MoP and the other expansions? And he started, like, in chat, like, ha, 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 ha. And then my phone starts buzzing, and then it's him calling me and him laughing in the phone at me.
That's a good friend.
he called me and laughed at me.
To me, I enjoyed the Pathfinder because it gave me a reason to do stuff. It was annoying, and I bitched about it, but I did it, and it didn't bother me to do it. I like not having flying at the beginning of the expansion. I think it's crucial for me because I need them to save me from myself, because I will cheat, and I will fly everywhere, and I will miss half of the things that make the expansion special when it's new. But do I think it's great that they're taking a look at that? Yes, I do, and I'll tell you why. There are some things that we need to make easier and some things that we don't. I would rather them make flying, acquiring per expansion easier than them dumbing down my tune, than them dumbing down dungeons, than them dumbing down things that are important for people to have to work for. Pick and choose your battle. And if you were that guy who 5 years ago was throwing a fucking fit, you had to do Pathfinder in the first place, and you're that same guy on the forum crying that it's you're not going to have to deal with it, you're not losing anything because you got your $15 worth in the time spent to acquire the Pathfinder when you had to do it. Plain and simple. I didn't cry about all the you could just get all the additional flying stuff that you used to have to pay a shit ton of gold for, and you had to unlock what's the panda one that you used to have to.
Well, that one wasn't Pathfinder, but you had to get your rep up.
Yeah, you had to do your rep, and then you had
serpents.
to. It was like a little bit more expensive than the other flying, I remember, because that was actually what caused me to start my own guild, is because the old guild master was a chode. But that's beside the point. He was like 15.
But that one made sense because you had to learn how to ride a cloud serpent, which could fly, and that one, I like that aspect.
I think, and one of the things that's really, really important is to keep people playing on some level. Maybe if time doesn't allow, you can't be Mythic Raider, right? You can't do all these things, but look at what they're doing for leveling. Like right now, they extended the leveling experience until Shadowlands launch, which I don't want to say that I am the reason, but I said this like a few shows ago when they first did the double XP. I'm like, they should totally leave this on till expansion, so everybody can, have a plethora of opportunities to take in. I know I'm kind of weird in the sense of I always take the same main through the expansion. I'll bring alts in later, but it's always going to be Bell, so I don't need to wonder what I'm going to play first off. But it's important that as the times change, we acclimate as much as we can without compromise, right? I think Blizzard learned a really tough lesson about taking meaningful things away and giving us a lot of cookie cutter stuff. I think they learned that there is definitely a line, and it isn't for you and I to decide what that line is, because I don't think you and I could make that decision, because what's different for you is what's different for me. I think that it's these instances where I have to trust Blizzard to say, you're leveling very quickly these days. And honestly, especially with the scaling changes, you can either choose to stay in the same spot, or you can go move on to another place at the whim. There's no telling where you're going to end up. So in the leveling process, there's no through path that some people are going to take. And
it's like a box of chocolates.
I'm saying, maybe they're not even going to go to whatever land they need the flying at, and then they have to go back and do it. That feels bad for people. That feels bad to have to go back and get rep for a fucking zone that you didn't even level in. Or you leveled for like 4 levels, so you have to go back after you... We had to do that for BFA. I did. I had to go back to fucking Drusvar because I didn't have the freaking stuff I needed for the... Yeah, like, those things feel bad. I don't want everything handed to me, but the rate at which people are leveling, they're trying to make it easier for you to do more in-game. I don't think this is... Pick and choose your battles, folks. Be happy that they're making this portion easy. I promise you're not going to be sorry about it. Who cares? It's past stuff.
Oh, yeah. I rejoiced that they were getting rid of it because, like, I'm farming a lot of WAD stuff, for transmog right now. And it's like, every time I sign I want to do it, like I go in guild chat or I get on, Discord or Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, hey, is anyone online that has WAD flying that wants to run this stuff with me?
Wait, you don't have WAD flying?
No.
The good news is you're not going to need it because you're going to get it for free. Yeah. Like, these things are great because there are many people who to this day do not have Legion flying. There's people who don't even have BFA flying yet, guys. When you're in a new expansion, nobody wants to go back and do that stuff unless you're doing it for the fun of it, right? If you took a year off because you had to go be a brain surgeon and you came back and then you can't fly in a certain zone, but you really like going to that specific place because you need it for mats, whatever the fuck, that feels bad. I don't think that this is one of the changes where we need to be sharpening our pitchforks. I think this was a solid move on Blizzard's part, and I think they were very smart to do it. So, perspective, guys.
Who played Wrath religiously?
Oh, I did not.
That's still my favorite expansion.
I loved it, but I didn't. I didn't love WoW the way that I do now. for it to
Same.
really be impactful like I think it would have been had I have
Wrath
been different.
it's one of the hardest I ever played in an expansion.
So classic or vanilla. I didn't play as religiously as I wanted to. PC, same thing. Fuck endgame paladins back in the day though. Just come down and fucking judgment your ass and one shot you.
Bubble
Two
heart.
shot most beats. Wrath. That's where I came back and came on multiple times.
Oh my.
Shadows Edge. Anyways, Wrath. I enjoyed the shit out of Nax Ramus. I enjoyed the No, I'm a liar there. I did not enjoy Eye of Eternity. Fuck that raid.
I loved getting lost in Naxxramas, to be perfectly honest. I still love getting lost.
Eye of Eternity is the only one I didn't like. I agree.
Who doesn't love Eye of Eternity?
The boom mic is like right here. Is that any better?
It's better.
That is
Anyways.
way better, yeah.
Anyways, so like I enjoyed majority of the raids. Old War, kick ass. Trial of the Grand Crusader, I thought that
Okay.
one was a bit lazy. ICC, loved ICC, and then the raid that came after ICC, which was the
Ruby Sanctum, that one, I don't even mention that one ever.
There's like one boss that actually drops fucking loot.
I remember his name, but yeah, Ruby Sanctum. It was like the perfect example of just like a shoehorn. Like, let's put this little thing just to hold them over.
But I mean, I enjoyed that expansion thoroughly. I played it from start to finish. I don't really think I ever took a break from it. I focused on JC. I did PvP. Winter's Grasp was a shit back in the day. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. The best part, once I hit 80, I ran over, paid I think $5,000 for flying, and started flying all over the goddamn place. That's me though. I enjoyed the shit out of the game when it was what it was in Wrath. Other people enjoy the game, that's hard to say, but I don't think them introducing Pathfinder was needed. Was it fun to do at the time? No, it really wasn't, in my opinion. But you go around, you do stupid shit, you find treasure, and you're like, oh, hey, I found another treasure box that counts from 30 out of 50 that I need in this goddamn zone. Oh, what the fuck? There's a skeleton over here, and then that leads to more lore. There are pluses or advantages and disadvantages.
It's like
What
when
I'm
you
saying
have to
is-
watch the chick flick for the wife, right? You don't want to do it, and it isn't going to be fun for you, but it's a necessary evil. You do it.
Right.
Well, I guess
But
I'm
with
just.
Wrath. You weren't forced to do any of that, and I enjoyed the game. That's the point I was trying to make. I wasn't forced to focus on flying. Flying was an end game endeavor for me. From level 69 through 80, it was just strictly getting on my mount, running, doing my quests, getting to 80. Once I'm 80, get flying, focus on getting my gear, focus on getting raid ready, and that was it.
Well, I guess
It's a
I'm
step
in like
from
this
point A to
fucking
point B.
obscure fucking camp because I don't give a shit if I get it at max level or if I get it after pathfinding. I'm good with it whatever way I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
give a shit.
I see the
So-
point he's making, actually, because if I think about it, if I think about Miss Pandaria, there was some small rep there, but
Cloud Serpents, yeah.
it wasn't a huge thing if you were doing the stuff and you were going through and you were doing the Cloud Serpent stuff anyway. It was going to be an organic process, but there wasn't a big old long fucking to-do list where you did things that were that didn't. The Pathfinder itself, I know why they did it, but it didn't. It forced you to
Why
explore.
do they do it?
They did it to keep people in game. It was a numbers game, guys. This is a business. They did it to keep people
Okay,
logged in.
back on my point an hour ago. Well, not an hour ago, however long it was ago. I don't want something to have to play the game. I just want to play the
Right, that's what
That's
Envy's
the point I
saying.
was
That's exactly
thinking.
what Envy's saying. But I remember I remember knowing that as soon as I got to Northrend, what was it, 40 when you could get the Northrend flying? Was it 40?
fucking
80.
what?
Was it
It was
80? I don't remember.
80.
It's
I don't
40
remember.
for epic ground running,
Okay,
which
this was many moons ago. So, but
Now it's 60.
I remember the feeling of when it was time for me to finally get the Northrend flying, and I I took the boat. You land on Valiant's Keep. It's even to this day, like, that
Valiant's
feeling.
Keep, but yeah.
Whatever. Sorry, I didn't know the fucking how to pronounce things, police. You were also not saying Oldham this whole time either, fucker.
Sargeras.
Right. So
Well, Alliance.
I
Valiant,
knew that at 80,
Battle
I could go and I could
Dazzle,
get
dazzle.
my North Run flying. No gimmicks, no hiccups. I just needed to make sure I had the gold and I could go get my cold weather flying, and I felt good about that. That's basically the point that Envy's making, and I think he's not wrong. I too was guilty of like buying into the guys, the Pathfinder's not this big deal, like, so they want us to do stuff, but he isn't wrong because I get it.
Well, even someone that played during BC and Wrath, again, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So Envy, when you had to go and like save up the gold for it and whatnot, did you go into the expansion and you just had the 5,000 gold and you bought it, or did you have to work for that 5,000 gold? Because if I recall correctly, like back then, like gold was still a pain in the ass to get.
Oh yeah, I had to work myself personally. I had to sell everything in my bags every single day to be able to afford it.
Right.
Yes, but honestly, back then, DK was obviously the main, still is. I had the mage, I had a warrior, and they all had flying. I paid for their epic riding, ground mount, obviously.
And you always know the difference when you didn't have the fastest flying on one alt, because
Yeah.
that alt took you like 3 extra fucking minutes to get from A to B.
Yep. But
it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was easy to make gold. It certainly wasn't. I had to go around farming through ICC or Ice Round to get the fuck were they the. It doesn't fucking matter. The fucking epic ore.
Yeah.
But it was easy. It was easier to do back then than it is now.
Agreed.
You know what they
Actually,
did?
I got that backwards.
I'm
it was
here just
harder
playing-
to do back then.
Yeah.
Because you hit one node and that disappears.
I just realized
Yeah.
what they did. And it never occurred to me until just now. So there's a real life correlation here, which I don't like talking politics, but they pulled a stimulus check deal. You gave up the price of freedom, and when you got to that level, being able to go buy your flying with a fancy mount with the Pathfinder achievement, folks, same as those who cashed the stimulus checks, who gave away their freedom and being able to step outside their front door and go wherever the fuck they wanted to go at any time. We gave
You
up
guys
that
got
right.
checks?
I didn't, but anyway, like, it's the same thing. We gave up our right to get to that level and go get our flying for whatever, because it turned into zone flying instead of level flying, right? At 120 you get another whatever. We gave up that right for a shiny mount that comes with the Pathfinder achievement. 100%. I bought it too. Like, I totally was like, yay, a mount. I don't care that I have to do work.
Yeah. I'm here playing a little
That's
bit of
not even
devil's
fucking
advocate
work,
here.
though.
So
She's like, I don't even like me either, boo.
So Envy, when you went and earned it, so you were there, you went to Ice Round, you farmed the ore and everything, right? So like the way I'm looking at it right now, playing devil's advocate, is basically some of the content you're going to be doing anyway to unlock flying to like get the gold is similar stuff. You're going to go around to all the zones, you're going to level, you're going to.
I might not.
Doing.
I didn't do very much in Dressfar because, to be perfectly honest, the place creeped me the fuck out. So
You're gonna love.
I did very little in
then.
parts of Dressfar because the questing was not fun for me. The questing was fun in the other zones, but for some reason, me and Dressfar did not drive.
Actually,
we
now
didn't
that I
jive.
think about it, I think you're gonna like Rivendreth.
I just didn't jive. So for me, I had to force myself to go through the Dressfar shit because I was not. I, in fact, did not level to max on Bell when everyone else did in my group that was leveling because I avoided Dressfar and found an excuse to not be in it. So, yes and no, but to Envy's point, they took something that was a right and made it a privilege.
And honestly,
And we bought it.
Again, for me, I don't care if I get it when I hit 60 or 120 or whatever level, or if it's with Pathfinder, I run around or fly around. I don't care.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're forced to do it with Pathfinder if you want it.
Right.
If you don't want it, you don't do Pathfinder.
Right.
If you have the gold for it, you buy it.
Right.
If you don't have the gold for it, you can't buy it.
Right.
And going back to the point that I had to work hard for it, I can't tell you how many times I started an expansion and ended at max level with a shit ton of gold. I spend it all because
Transmogs.
well, that too. But yeah, I spend it all, and it was the same thing in Wrath. I played Wrath from level 69 through 80, and I get the money I need from those levels to pay for my flying. There's a difference. There's a big difference in knowing that you're gonna level from point A to point B. Once you get a point B, if you did everything right, you sold all the greens, you just even if you fucking vendor it. You vendor all your shit, you get your 5,000 gold. Once you hit 80, fuck yeah, I've got flying. Versus hit 120. Fuck!
I gotta wait a whole nother year.
Or me in the bedroom,
Pug or some shit.
me in the bedroom nagging the ginger every time he didn't log in and missed a daily that he could have used to get his goddamn flying. And I'm like, you should have been up there doing it. And he's like, yeah, but that's not fun. Like, that sucks. I'm like, I know, but
So
you need it.
I didn't say it was
it comes
awesome,
back
but
to-
it's not
to-
hard to get.
But
Like,
they
what the
took
fuck?
something that was a right and made it a privilege. It made it where we had to do it. It was our right to have flying at our level. They
In
took
that
something that was
in another zone. Yeah.
But
okay.
but
so-
overall though, and then that became the normal system. I'm not complaining about the past, but I'm saying I never realized that I also bought the lie because they gave me a shiny mount for me to shut the fuck up and stay silent.
So in places
But-
like Pandaria, it makes sense because the place is closed off with magic. You have to learn how to ride a cloud serpent, which knows how to fly there. Yada yada yada. And Draenor, it makes sense. An entirely new world. I mean, yeah, at BFA it doesn't make sense because we're already on Azeroth. Why the fuck would I learn how to?
Why
fly
doesn't
again?
why does it make sense that we have to get rep to learn how to fly? And I need you to tell me from a scientific perspective,
Science doesn't apply to
scientifically,
WoW.
what does the cloud serpent magic have to do with me having to jump through hoops to fly? I need
They
you
have
to
little arms.
get your whiteboard and I need you to explain this to me. Let's take BFA. What does me finishing all the quest chains, getting the rep?
Motherfucker, I just said BFA. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, but
'Cause
all
you're
the other
already
ones,
on
there was
Azeroth.
okay, so in Draenor, what makes sense about I had to unlock my flying in another land from a lore perspective? Did every
lore's
other
perspective, it
did
doesn't
every
make sense.
did every other newcomer to Draenor have to unlock the ability to be able to fly in their flying
Khadgar
zones?
can't fly.
You just justified it with
teleports.
you tried to make the land itself the justification, and I need you to explain.
That's what I'm
I'll buy
saying.
it, but
That's what I'm saying. With Pandaria, it kind of makes sense because the cloud serpents were the ones that flying around.
Okay,
Everything
well,
else,
It's
But
not, we're already
Draenor,
fucking up trying to
BFA,
play
it
logic.
doesn't make sense.
We're trying to apply logic to something that is.
That's what I'm saying.
illogical.
There is no logic to it. It's
So
just
the thing
it is what
like,
it is.
You
okay?
you want to do the lore
I love when
portion,
I get
right?
Rem all rowdy. It's my favorite.
You want to do the lore portion about it. How the fuck am I gonna learn anything by
Well, there is no
looking for
story
no
to
hold, let me finish. How the
Oh
fuck
my
am I gonna
God.
learn anything by grabbing a fucking treasure box in the middle of the fucking ocean out of what spires and fucking water? I'm gonna swim so I can get this box so I can put it to my battle or Pathfinder achievement. Finding treasure. How the fuck is that gonna teach me? How
if
the
you're
fuck
a pirate,
Well,
Hey,
I'm a
prepare us for BFA. We're all fucking pirates in BFA.
Like,
I'm a pirate. Let me
if you're a
take
the
my
pirate-
requirements
ship
for
and fly because
Pathfinder
I'm
doesn't make
pirate.
sense. It's just getting rep. It's
Now,
just doing the content.
wisdom
But
of the four winds from a lore perspective makes sense. I need to gain the wisdom to be able to fly on the four winds of the Valley of the Four
yeah,
Winds.
that's what I'm saying. For Pandaria, it made sense, but Draenor is iffy. But BFA, we're already on Azeroth. We have Azeroth
It's
flying.
like paying a $1,000 dock fee when you already paid a $500 tax fee, plus you paid another $300 dock fee. They're double dipping, man.
It's
Well,
like-
so
Sometimes
for
that's
instance,
good. Sometimes
Going
it's
into Shadowlands, flying whatsoever doesn't make sense in my opinion because it's
now
so
you're just
bad.
being ridiculous.
Have you
No,
ever
no, no,
seen
no, no, no,
Casper
no.
fly?
Fuck, Casper is not a friendly ghost. Okay, he touched little kids.
Ghosts literally fly. Like
That's beyond the point. Well,
that's how they scare people. Is woo.
But okay, so all the zones are split into their own little like kind of not like jurisdictions, but their own realm of reality in the dead realm.
So dead people
Like,
can't fly. They're literally dead. They can
they're
walk
floating.
through walls.
They're floating.
But that.
Okay,
So you're
but
saying we should unlock the ability to float, not fly.
So I mean,
They're
Laser
falling in
has
style. Okay.
Laser has a good point that I didn't think of, and it ties into some of the stuff that you guys were saying. And Laser said, if you feel forced to do anything in a game where you're supposed to be having fun, just don't do it.
Well, that's the obvious answer.
I get it. And it's one of the reasons that, like, it's one of my big qualms with essences as well, right? You know, like, some people don't enjoy the rep grinds and everything, and I get that. Grinding rep can suck ass at times. But like, for the essences, like, some of my best ones as a tank, right? Conflict and Strife is one I get from arenas. I don't really enjoy arenas like I enjoy Mythic Plus or Raiding. And I have to do this content that I don't enjoy to do content that I do. And it's the same thing with you, Belle, where you have to do Raiding and Mythic Plus to get the
In
gear
order
you
to
need
be
for
able to
PvP.
not get squashed in.
Exactly. And the point that Laser's making in chat is the fact that people are having to do like these rep grinds and these quest grinds and all of this stuff to unlock flying, and it's just like, fuck, I want flying, but there's all this content that I need to do to unlock it that I don't enjoy.
And you can have a choice to not do it. And to be fair, I have always said that. For the last 6 years of this show, I have said if you don't like it, don't do it. That, folks, is where I have been wrong. I have been absolutely wrong. Yes, it does apply sometimes where if you don't like doing something, don't do it. But that is where I have been wrong overall, because I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't see that sometimes the answer isn't to not do it. The answer is to fucking fix it so that I can. That's the answer. It isn't always the case, and there are cases where if you don't want to do it, don't. You don't like it, don't. But if what you are doing is relevant for you to be able to do the things that you want to do, you don't have a choice, right? There isn't there isn't a choice in you saying, well, fuck it, I'm just not going to do it because I have to do it. I hate fucking raiding. I've always hated raiding. I've never liked it. I like doing it for the story. I was fine with LFR, maybe clearing normal. I dislike raiding. It isn't fun for me. It stresses me out. It makes me feel bad about myself. I hate it. I have been forced for the last 2 fucking expansions to raid because I was given the choice. Don't do it or do it. So I didn't do it. I didn't do anything PvP related because I was given the choice. Either you have to do all this shit, whatever, or you don't. So sometimes just making the choice to not do it isn't the answer. I don't accept that anymore. And I don't say that anymore to others. Yes, there are some times when if you don't want to do something, don't do it. But when A gets you to B, and your only choice is you suffer in silence, or you don't do it, I don't accept that anymore as an answer.
Silence. That's basically every time fucking I see cat do cat weaving.
Right,
Oh my
so
God.
like, I don't accept that answer anymore, and I have been wrong, guys, for the last 6 years telling people that. Because I didn't see it, and it was literally a moment of clarity. I didn't understand what I had been telling people to swallow and put up with for the sake of faith in a game where I was wrong. So, yeah, with something like flying, you could not have it. It isn't making or breaking your gameplay unless you're a world PvPer, then you're fucked. You better have your flying because it's going to be a really bad day if you don't.
Also, on that note, Netomatic should be something in Shadowlands once the flying is added. But
even when they're just on a mount, they're great for just mounted players, not even flying specific.
So I don't know how bad it was in Legion, but the fact that you have to do arenas to get conflict, it's not hard to get, to be honest.
No, but you shouldn't. The two worlds shouldn't mix.
That's what I'm about to. Oh my god. So
What were you about to say, Rem?
so when you're doing arenas, if you're doing high tier content with arenas, you have to do. There's no question about it. You have to do 15 keys. You have to do raid. This is the worst it's been since ever. And I mean, Belle's been bitching about this for a while, so it's a thing. But if I only did PvP and I had to do mythics, I would hate my life.
You would feel bad about yourself constantly because you're trying to fit yourself in a mold that you don't belong in because it was never your lot to be that way. So then you have a moment of clarity where you realize that you spend the last 2 fucking expansions trying to make yourself something you're not and being fucking miserable so that you can have a connection to people and at least do something in game, until you were smart and at 3 o'clock in the morning you made a very drunk decision to finally stop playing everyone else's fucking game and playing your own. And since then you've been relatively happy. However, the happiness hinges on Blizzard fixing this PvP shit for the next expansion. My whole world explodes if they don't deliver on some of the part promises.
Yeah, so if high tier PvP isn't equivalent to mythics or to raids, like
if they force me to
PvP
PvE for good gear to be viable, I think I will quit WoW. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's the first time I've ever said that out loud.
Honestly, when it comes to PvP, you can call me crazy. It was a little more difficult to get the gear, but it was worth it. It was a payoff.
Let me work
You
it.
felt good. Resilience gear, PvP power.
So,
That made
it made sense.
That made your gear relevant. That was geared. Geared towards a certain aspect of the game. What I hated is when they took it away, the following expansion, and even worse when they try to force it on you in the following expansion, Missy Pandaria. All right, I need my legendary.
Okay, that was what made me love PvP, though.
But you need that legendary. You absolutely need it.
Yeah.
And in order for me to do it or get it, I had to do PvP. I got it. I got it fairly easily. I wasn't happy doing it.
At least it was a small bit, though. It was just
both camps don't like that, though.
It was a small bit, though. It wasn't much PvP, and to that end, I agree. But I wouldn't have gotten into PvP had they not have had me do that small bit of those 2 battlegrounds to get the cloak.
Sure, but this isn't the first time they've done that, and well, the exception of this was a legendary thing, right? You know you're going to have PvP. You know you're going to have raiding. You know you're going to have a group that's more tailored to PvP than they are raiding. Take it back to that. Take it back to what it was in Wrath. You have resilience. You do battlegrounds. If you get caught in there with PvE gear, don't say we didn't fucking warn you. You're going to get decimated.
And you didn't avoid PvE because you were forced in order to be able to do the things that you love. I remember doing my PvE stuff casually for the story. I would usually clear normal. Sometimes I would clear heroic because I like having the AOTC on Bell. But it didn't make or break my daily happiness because I still had PvP and I didn't have to do those things. I wasn't forced to Mythic Plus so that I didn't get smashed in arenas, or forced to make sure that all this stuff was essenced and locked and loaded and azurited and fucking Rochambeau and all this other stuff, instead of just being able to grind out my currency, purchase the gear that I needed for PvP, feel good about that, go in and kick some fucking teeth in, and then because I felt good spending my time doing what I loved, I wouldn't be so mad at doing PvE, right? To me, it was that I had no choice. It isn't that I didn't have a choice. I was given no other option. Yes, they said we're getting our vendors back. That isn't enough. I want to know that the gear we buy from those fucking vendors matters. And I want to know that it means that I can go and get my teeth kicked in because I fucking suck at fighting a rogue and not because my gear isn't mythic fucking plus 22 or fucking cloak corruption level 11 million or whatever ridiculousness you need. I want to know that it's because I truly suck at fighting a rogue and it isn't my gear because I worked hard for my gear. It's more about just the vendors. It's what comes along with the vendors, and it's a healthy separation while maybe occasionally mixing the two, but I don't want to have to do one in order to be able to do the other. I'm not talking about the occasional times we have to do one or the other. I like doing the story stuff, raiding when that's all I have. It isn't enough because it isn't mine. And I imagine that's how raiders feel when they don't have the raid tier that they need, or when they're having, when things aren't working right in Mythic Plus. It's like, I imagine it's the same feeling when their systems are broken. Except I've had this system, it's been broken literally since
Legion, right?
Before
Before
Legion.
It's difficult too because I don't. You guys can keep me honest here.
Oh, that's
Boom mic.
hot. Hold on.
Here's a microphone. Look.
My butt cheek's sweaty.
Oh my.
Ooh.
Get some ass juice in there.
Make a cocktail with it.
That's what she had in her vape earlier.
Are you having a stroke? Do you smell?
There's no burning toast. It's just literally, it's fucking, like, it dripped.
We call that swamp ass.
It dripped.
It's not a sweaty butt drip. It's a swamp ass.
There might
it for
be,
what it is.
There's a little swamp ass going on. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta turn
Swamp
it.
ass is nobody's friend.
Well,
Ugh. It's
You
the
know.
worst.
some guys like it and might pay money for it. I'm saying like $20 is $20.
Yeah, I've been to the darkest areas of the internet, so.
Oh my.
Copy on the black hole.
Black.
Flashback to when I made a freaking. Just to interrupt real quick, flashback to when I made a FetLife account to Stock Remedy's girlfriend, and my name was Rusty Trombone. To this day, it is the proudest moment of my life. Okay, go ahead, Envy. The floor is yours.
At some
Anyways,
point, I want to hear this story.
So, freaking, yeah, like, do you remember how awesome it was for the Wrath players going in a PvP and doing what you need to do, right? Getting your honor, getting your conquest points, what have you, right? And then you bought. the videos that way, and I'm just like you
I didn't see his fan until just now. I'm fucking hot, guys. It's sweaty. I've been drinking. I'm hot, and now I'm laughing. So it's okay. Conquest, purchase, pieces, go.
anyways, you get fucking ram with you little
Why do you even?
Samsung.
geisha fucking
How do you even have that? Why do you have that?
Why
Although-
doesn't he have that?
Shurion gave us these a while ago, and I was like, okay.
hey, save that for later, Ram.
Oh my! Let me put that on the
Anyways.
internet. We need to make some money.
Well, but anyways, yeah. Hold on, how do I get these kids to learn? That's what you just reminded me of, Laser.
How do I
Get
reach these kids?
How do I reach these kids to cheat? Orale.
So you're at the
So-
asshole university?
Okay, so do you remember when you used to farm honor and then you could buy that important weapon? You know how good
Why
it
do you
felt
sound
to buy
like
that
Speedy
weapon?
Gonzalez, you racist fuck?
Because that's what Laser is expecting out of me, and I'm trying my best to. Hold on, how did Milk Box talk? Fuck.
Fuck that guy.
Sounds more like Little Joker and less like Speedy Gonzalez.
Little. I don't know that I can do that. Little Joker.
Or Big Joker.
Or-
Or Baby Joker. One of the Jokers ought to work.
Hey Holmes. Hey, do you remember when we used to PvP, vato?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
better. There we go.
Yeah, orale, we used to go out there and we used to cap some motherfuckers, yo. Yeah, man, paisa, fucking gangster shit right there, Be your hunter and you'd right by you and you'd be like, fuck you, puto. Yeah, that's okay to say, but
I have
don't
tears.
repeat that. But anyways, to my point, it felt good to get what you need. And once you turn that honor into like a fucking weapon, and it was amazing. Once you got your PvP weapon, like, I'm not gonna suck anymore. You'd run into PvP and decimate motherfuckers.
Well, yeah,
that was the greatest thing.
that getting your conquest weapon was like okay, this is the first.
It's
step
like
in
getting your best in
tier.
slot
Yeah.
in the raid
Yeah.
tier.
But that was, that's my point. Your best in slot is a PvP weapon for PvP
Right.
versus I'm gonna go in with Geku's the fucking the weapon from fucking Keen's Rest, right?
The Getty.
The two-hander. Yeah. So you the wife's asking for Smeagol now. Fuck you. No.
It burns as
is precious. No more PvP. Anyways,
He does a really good Smeagol, actually.
that was my favorite boss, Smeagol from fucking Throne of Thunder. By the way, what the fuck was his name? But he just sounded like Smeagol.
Oh, shit.
It was the blood boss.
Yeah. Rem should know. He knows all the weird shit no one else knows.
But
I didn't live in
anyways,
Throne of Thunder.
I feel that when they removed PvP resilience and PvP power and all that stuff and just made it like, main stats, what we have today, right? I feel that Blizzard's even more hard-pressed to try to balance out both sides, PvP and PvE.
I told Holinka that very thing 2 BlizzCons in a row. Rem is my witness.
Like,
I can attest.
you're going to overpower something in PvP, which can potentially be devastating in raid, and then you're going to bitch and moan that, like, well, that was an unintended consequence that we never expected, so we're going to nerf your ass.
They tried to solve a problem in war mode, and I get it, but they fucked up. They screwed the pooch in trying to solve that problem.
And
Yeah.
how many times have we gone to BlizzCons where, like, all right, we're going to make a change here to PvE, which is also going to affect PvP. Well, there goes my fucking arena.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have to relearn whatever changes you fucking made and make it viable, or change my spec up, or just play a completely different class because you fucked it over. Going back to that old system, I think would resolve most of those issues. Not all, just most.
I want to carry 2 sets of gear in my bag. I want to carry 2 sets of gear in my bag because I had my PvE and my PvP set, Miss of Pandaria, halfway through Warlords of Draenor. I liked that I could swap it out, and it didn't bother me that I had to carry around 2 full sets. Didn't bother me at all. It felt really good. It bothered me when I accidentally queued for a fucking dungeon in my PvP gear, but whatever. Like,
I'm trying to find something very Mexican for laser, but I can't.
But those are things that didn't bother me. I know the
Órale, chancla.
just the Spanish name makes it Spanish. Or wearing socks with it. That was offensive, and I don't care.
That's offensive in all cultures.
I'm saying it's offensive to old white
Mammals?
dudes that put socks on and sandals. But I know why they did it, and I get it, and I know they were trying to do this thing with war mode, and I know that particular piece means something because you, on a PvP server, you were in PvP all the time, right? You couldn't turn it off. Now we have the opportunity. So if people have war mode on, they shouldn't be concerned with PvE gear working because it shouldn't. Period. Because they have the ability to turn it on. So if you are turning on your PvP, anything PvE related should be null and void. It should be PvP only because you are making the choice. So the giver and the receiver of whatever ganking is happening both equaled into this partnership by clicking the war mode button. It's no longer a case of we're forcing players to be PvP if they're on a PvP server. That problem doesn't exist anymore. They solved that one. So maybe now they can go back to, maybe not the exact thing, but
a modernized version of it.
Yes, I have all of my eggs in Holinka's basket, man. Like, I literally am writing this to the fucking end, praying to God that I am not disappointed.
I would have to look back, but I can't figure out why people didn't like PvP power or resilience.
It wasn't us that didn't dislike it. It was a problem with the templates. If you remember when we talked to Holinka in 2017, there was the way that they did the templates where the templates would activate in PvP instance.
Yeah.
But the problem they had was in the world. So when they were in the world, those PvP stats, according to them, mucked everything up, and it affected those that were in PvE gear out in the world on a PvP server. They thought that it was too much. They thought we had too many choices to make, too many...
Well, so yeah, on that note then, what you just said, the war mode definitely takes care of that because there's a separate instance, it's a different phase entirely, so they could make the templates work everything now.
And I'm okay with having 2 expansions of shitty PvP because they had to do that. If that was the sacrifice I had to make for them to fix the overall problem, I'm in. But I swear to fucking God, man, if this is not even a fraction of what it needs to be, I don't really believe the community is going to survive.
Well, corruption's kind of tipped the iceberg for BFA. I mean,
Yeah.
That's not bugging me.
The PvP community is. That high rated content, gushing wounds, like everything.
Twisted appendage.
We shouldn't have that next expansion, right? Like these things shouldn't be elements that exist. If they want to make arenas more exciting for the viewer, because I do agree, we get into this meta. Sometimes the meta shift according to balances, but there's this old meta where it's the same shit. You just go in and especially when you're watching a tourney, you know how everybody's going to react. You know who's going to be aggressive, who's not going to be aggressive. Like, that's the norm. So maybe they...
Well, that's like one of the oldest jokes in WoW is RMP walking to a bar, there is no counter.
Maybe there's... right. But maybe there's things that Blizzard can think of outside the box. And instead of trying to mold an entire community into making those exciting elements into your tournaments, maybe you should do that like you do with Mythic Pluses in terms of your tournaments. Maybe your tournament should be designed with specific cool elements that happen. Like, I don't even know what I mean there, but I think you guys get it. Like, MDI is cool to watch if you are a Mythic Plus or if you're a PvEer, because even though it's the same people, it's the same run, sometimes the same timer, it isn't. Things change, right? The affixes change things, the comps change things. One misstep changes the entire way you have to approach the rest of the bosses in a Mythic Plus dungeon.
So something like affixes added to Arena?
I don't want to call it affixes, but maybe there's a different thing that happens depending on the level or stage of part of the... I don't even know, because...
Well, like the actual map terrain changes?
Maybe there's a thing that happens that you have to then pay attention to.
Well, they tried to do something like that with dampening because people kept on going like 10, 20 minutes in a freaking match.
But like, maybe not even... I don't even know.
Okay, so I've had this thought for...
Sorry.
I've had this thought for a while, and I don't think I've mentioned it on show yet. I've mentioned it to friends of mine. I may have mentioned it to Rem, or Rem may have seen my comments on this before. But since, we're getting into the topic, this is our raid gear, this is our PvP gear, right? And so in the PvE community, there's still there's now a division between, hey, I'm a Mythic Pluser, I don't want to have to raid to get my Mythic Plus gear, and I don't want to have to do Mythic Plus. You see what I'm saying?
I disagree. I think those two things were built to help each other, but that's how dungeons have always been. Not even just Mythic dungeons, but your dungeons for PvE has always been a stepping stone for raiding.
Well,
right?
now it's like a...
Is that not...
separate? Yeah, it's like equal, and to me...
You need one to have the other, though.
Well, I think initially,
I think they make...
You need dungeons, and I know what you're trying to say. We actually had this conversation before BlizzCon, Bell. The fact that we need to do Mythic Pluses to get the best gear in order.
Oh, actually, Drew, you did say not Drew Brew. Sorry, you did say that on a show before. We did have this discussion.
Yeah,
the fact that go ahead.
So what they did with the Crucible gear, I thought was really, really innovative, and I really liked the effects they were putting on the gear. And so, like, if you think about it that way, if we had similar things like that, like if you're in a raid and some of your raid has like cool effects that affect the raid but don't work in Mythic Plus, and vice versa with Mythic Plus, kind of having, you get a little sort of like how like your PvE things will have a special effect and it won't work in PvP, and same with the PvP. We could separate that out. I mean, at that point you're carrying 3 sets of gear if you do all 3 sets of content, but at the same time...
Right, quick. Are you mentioning there's an Uldir Azerite piece which only worked in Uldir, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Crucible had effects that, the Crucible effects worked everywhere, but it was more of the idea, because those are really cool effects, and I really like the idea that they were playing with, and it kind of led into corruption, which is a whole different beast in itself. But it's more of that the idea that they were going with.
I think Mythic Plus gear should be different, but I don't know that I think
it should be totally exclusive.
Here's the problem that I have. Raiding is very hard to do, right? Super tough, especially when you're in when you're mythic level, right? But even on a just progression level in general, it's difficult to do. Mythic Plus, once you get into the super high keys, that gear's better than your heroic gear, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a bad thing, because guys, some of those Mythic Pluses, given the affixes, like, that's a fucking feat of strength, my dudes. They're not fucking going in and circle jerking the entire time they're in there. If they're running 15, 16, 17s, it should be better than raid gear, to be quite frank. But I think it should be difficulty specific, not... I'm not saying Mythic Pluses are harder than raid, but I'm saying once you've done, let's say, heroic, and maybe you're not a Mythic Raider, if you go in and do a Mythic 17 or a Mythic 18, you deserve to have better gear than heroic raid. I gotta be honest.
That I'm agreeing. I can't disagree with that.
The problem I have with it is, and Deirdre of all people,
listen,
I have to agree with him though. I agree with him, and settle down, Mom. Good old little pug here. Oh, where's Pugsy? We need his opinion later. Anyways, Deirdre made the point that, like, it sucks having to do Mythic Pluses in order to, like, get the best gear available in game, when story-wise, lore-wise, you're in a raid gear should be just enough to clear the content, and it really is. But if you need that extra push, Mythic Plus is there. But in so many cases, let's see what heroic caps out at 460.
Yeah,
I can name a ton of 460 pieces, same item level, that come out of Mythic, that are way, 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 way better than what you'll find in a
yeah.
heroic
At Mythic
raid.
12, you can pug that easy, and it's better than heroic raids.
And that's it. It's better than the heroic raid, which only means you're just going to clear out the raid.
they stopped caring
Clear out
about the
raid.
content in which they were providing the gear for, and they just started focusing on making sure people were happily acquiring higher item level gear for doing harder content. They did 100% stop looking at the pieces that they were doing and the what they were giving out, and they 100% just, it's almost like they threw everything in a pile and said, half of you go for normal raid, half of you go for heroic raid, the rest of you are mythic raid, and then all these others go to all the different levels of Mythic Plus. I don't think that I think they really tried to be thoughtful, but I agree because I see the Mythic Plusers in PvP, and they're usually the ones kicking my teeth in. And I see some of the gear and I'm like, wow, that'd be fucking legit. Even looking at all my guys I watch for Warlocks, like, all their shit's fucking Mythic Plus gear. I'm like, fuck, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the worst it's been for having to do Mythic keys. For
I
this.
do think that they need to fucking focus. They're so busy throwing everything but the kitchen sink. And I'm really hoping that they've realized that. Like, I'm hoping that I realized they were trying to make things easier for new players, or for players. For me specifically, I understand not having time. I get it. I could barely wipe my ass some days. But
Clearly from the swamp ass you.
But I'm not complaining that I am behind in all
worse.
these things because I don't have time to do it. That's my problem for not having time to do it. It's not the developer's problem to have to fix the game for me not having time and acclimate. Like, it's not their problem to solve, it's mine. Yes, making the game more accessible is in as many ways as they can without sacrificing.
To a certain extent.
Without sacrificing. And I really hope that this is the one lesson that they have learned, because it isn't about broken systems. It's not about things that are fucked up. It's not about that they always seem to want to do a ton of fucking class changes right before a fucking PvP and MDI tournament. It isn't about any of those things at the end of the day. It's about they made decisions for the wrong reasons. And I really hope that they've reconnected and they're going to start making them for the right ones. Let's be honest. Now more than ever, it's obvious what we're missing in Mike Morheim and Chris Metzen. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it because I don't really think I've ever said it out loud, because I always try to be super positive and I try to have that ever-flowing faith. But I think as I've stepped back from just analyzing a lot of things, because my whole emotional well-being is kind of wrapped up in World of Warcraft, unfortunately, I think I understand why Mike left. And I'm not saying this to panic anybody, but I think I get it. I think these things are also needed, because I think that that's how you really test a company's resolve and a game maker's resolve. And I think sometimes you have to go through the really, really shitty expansions to just really get the sweet spot good one, right? Or to, without throwing everything out there, you don't know what sticks to the wall. It's like, that's how you tell when your spaghetti's al dente, right? You throw that sucker against the wall, and if it sticks, you take it off and you put it in cold ice. I hope that that's the lesson that they've learned. And I hope that in seeing some of the things that they're bringing back and fixing, I hope it's for the right reasons. I hope it isn't just because people are bitching about it on the forums. I hope it's because they found what they've been missing. And this is what I've told Holinka literally 2 years in a row. This is why it's important that we have veterans like Holinka still connected, because they are the connection to the players. Currently, as of this moment, I don't know who's in charge of PvP on the dev team.
Is that one dude with the weird smile?
But I have no idea, and I should. To get my point, I should.
That's we don't
no
know
idea.
Who it is.
I know who Ian is. That's awesome. But I have no idea who it is, and I should. And it isn't because I'm not connected. You should be so in my face that I remember your fucking name. Because you...
That's true.
That's your job, and they stopped doing that. I get it. Everybody's a dumpster fire on Twitter. I wouldn't want to be on Twitter either. I get it. I understand. But the very nature is different, and I need them to fix it. And this was a little heavier discussion than I wanted, but I get it. And it's going to be on us. That's our responsibility to keep them focused on relevant change and positive evolution, and in a manner that makes sense, and not just because you're trying to appease. Do it because you see the reasoning, not because you want to make people happy. Do it because you realize you fucked up when you change things. These particular pieces, you fucked up when you literally, like, whatever my husband says, oh, I'm under-geared. What the fuck do you mean? They're literally throwing gear at you by the fucking truckloads. What do you mean you're under-geared? You're not under-geared for anything. Like, you can step into any piece of content in this expansion. They're literally throwing gear at you. Like, you have to scrap that shit by the fucking bagfuls because they're tossing it in every direction. Might not be the gear you want, but there isn't a gear problem. There's a gear that matches what you're doing problem. Right?
Well, if I do 10 BGs and I get one piece of gear that I have to fucking DE anyway, then it's kind of like, okay, why would I do PvP to get...
Holinka did get harassed a lot, but there was something magical when he announced he was coming back to WoW. Not even in a PvP capacity, but just to WoW. There was a magical feeling that I'm sure I'm not the only one. And even in your angriest at him, when you were pissed off about Ashran,
It's like your dad coming back from getting cigarettes after like 15 years. I mean, I don't know. That's like
take me 15 years.
I was on my back porch. I'm even getting teary-eyed. I was on my back porch and I was pacing. And my husband comes outside and he's like, are you okay? He assumed it was work related. And I'm like, I show him the tweet. And he's like, are you mad? No, you don't understand. There was a hope. I don't know that that's what it was.
Yeah. I had, besides you, I had other friends that literally were crying and rejoicing that he came back.
Because in any capacity, that's still someone at a meeting when they're in
Yeah.
their think tank that's like, yo, guys, this kind of isn't what this community is going to like. Or, yeah, that's cool, but maybe we should not because the players, we miss that. We miss the connection to the devs. Ian's getting really good. He's getting better at being more forthcoming and being more accessible.
Well, on that note, Ghostcrawler, Bastion,
I read
like,
that whole
all those names. Like, there's no connection. I mean, we have people you notice on the forums like KVax or, well, not even. Just
in their fear of the community, they've hidden. And I get it. I get it. Like, no one gets it more than me. I've seen the way that they treat. But I feel like retreating behind your castle wall isn't the answer. I need to see the face of the people that are making my game, and I need to know that they see me. I don't need you to juggle. I don't need you to post every 5 minutes. I don't need you to entertain me on Twitter. I need to see who you're about. I need to see your likes and your dislikes. I need to see what your sense of humor is. I need to see the things that you like to do in game because I need to know it's the same as me. Period. If I'm going to trust you,
like, I need to know.
If I'm going to trust you with my collective fate and future in a game that literally sometimes I feel like I'm holding on by a thread, I need to know who's behind the curtain. That's what I need to know. I don't want to know your fucking underwear color, but I need to know that you're one of us. Just saying, oh yeah, so-and-so is one of us. That's great. Anybody could be who they want. This is the fucking age of the internet. I could be a 52-year-old fucking man living in my mother's basement eating Hot Pockets all day. I can be whatever I want on the internet. I want to know
so good right now.
that our game makers are one of us. Simple. Holinka, he's home. That feels like home to me. So as long as he's still there, like...
the country roads.
I gotta feel like we're okay. I like Ian. I know many people don't. There's something about that man that he isn't afraid to take ownership and say, look, I fucked up, guys. I probably shouldn't approve that system change, and yet I did because I hit the okay button. I respect honesty. But maybe I'm the only one. Greta probably likes him. So now I went off on my...
Yeah, we went up a little bit.
That was a little deep. But I think that these are things that... that's really the things to discuss and fight over because I want somebody to have this conversation and it continue to be had until it's where I need it to be, which is in front of Blizzard. I want them to just... And maybe it is the fucking suits making the decisions. I don't know. But I do get really emotional. Anyway, okay. So, FYI, I'm working on getting 2 experts in here to talk story over the next month or so. I got to see how their schedule plays out. There was a new addition to the family, so I am working that because I feel like...
fucking called it.
Now's the... What?
Nothing. Brew and I were talking about it.
Well, I feel like it's a good... They're doing... Yes. If you guys haven't watched Tal and Ev's videos recently, they're doing some really good work. Top of the bar in terms of content creation. Tal is always professional, just perfect all day on his videos. Super dripping with sarcasm. But they've got some mind-blowing shit going on, even if most of it is in jest.
His streams the past couple of weeks have been...
Oh, he's on fire. Dadhood looks so good on him. Like, he's at the top of his game.
What I love about him, he doesn't give a shit about talking about politics. And, like, he's like, you're just being a complete twat right now. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. That's
why I've always loved them, because they don't... They're genuinely nice people, but they're not nice if you're a dick. That's what I love about them.
They...
But I'm going to try to see if I could... it's going to be a little tricky schedule-wise, and I know they got the baby and stuff, but I feel like it's good to have a good story roundtable. Yeah. Wow, the show's been going on for a really long time. Yeah. I'm sorry!
Oh, this fucking Pathfinder talk.
Yeah. Okay, so some stuff we're gonna have to skip, but we will do the week in WoW.
No, I want to bitch about the
I have a can you not
the
this
timer.
week.
what
I
timer?
want to talk about the timer, the Mythic Plus timer. Pause.
Oh, actually, those are okay. Listen, if you bitch at me for this,
I'm going to.
okay.
Oh my God.
Listen, did you read the suggestion though, and why? So let me give background
Go
real
ahead.
quick, and then you could.
For everybody else.
So somebody posted on the forum a really good. Oops, I moved our thing. Somebody posted on the forum a really good suggestion, and he gave a reason for being able to pause the Mythic Plus timer. I know that sounds really ridiculous, and all you elitist fucks are gonna be like, "Wow, Belle, really?" His use case was simple. When a player disconnects, that sucks. It's not your guys' fault. Every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry is at home on the internet right now, like on jerkmate.com. The ability to be able to time it with maybe, a limit where you can only time it for X amount, like maybe it only lets you time it for like 1 or 2 minutes, which is long enough for someone to connect. I don't know what that looks like on a high tier level, but I think the concept of if you're pushing a super high key and so-and-so's internet cuts out, that's kind of shitty. I'm not saying a forever timer where you could just pause it for 2 hours, but
Yep. So I was reading the notes beforehand. I was actually talking to Brie before we started that depending on the way they implement it, it's a really great idea for people that are either leaving a key for being an abusive little bitch, or from disconnects, or anything that happens like outside of the game. Like, what if I have to do what if something happens?
like maybe it's like a 5-minute cap, right?
Yeah,
like where it's it's long enough to
It
overcome.
depends on the way they implement it, because that can be
Right.
abused pretty easily. But
Agree.
I like the idea.
Because in time content, the whole purpose is time, right? It isn't to pause things. So I understand that. But I think with like Rem said, like with a caveat of maybe it's just a 5-minute, or maybe it isn't even 5 minutes, maybe it's 3. I don't know how they would do that. But I think, like, I don't think that's a terrible idea as long as it was not like a 2-hour pause button, just pause long enough to get someone in.
Well, even if it's not a pause, or if it's like you're able to reset the instance so you don't lose out on the key.
Well, there would be a lot of abuse
Because I'm saying, like, it depends on the way they implement it, but some way of, because I mean, I've been fucked over on someone disconnecting from a key, or just someone going, "Oh, I don't like you guys, I'm gonna leave the group because we're not gonna time it anyway." Like,
maybe it's a one-time, maybe you get one shot, so you get one ability to pause, and it's for like 5 minutes throughout the whole. So I'm not saying like
there'd have to be way more than just
If
that.
I thought about this one when I read it, I got super triggered, but I understand. I understand the want for it, right? Like, ISPs are out of our control. If your ISP decides to take a dump on you and you're in the middle of a mythic key, it's gonna suck, but hopefully you have X amount of time to get back online, right? In most cases, somebody DCs, it takes them about a minute or 2, right? I'd say 3-minute timer. After that timer, should that timer expire and your original member isn't back, you should have at the very least the option to remove them and replace him or her with another healer or a DPS or what have you, and continue your timed key. Leave the timer in place so you're eligible for 1, 2, 3 pieces of loot, but give you the exact same key back. It's the only way I can think of this working, because otherwise it's going to be abused.
you should comment on the forum post with that, because that's really
I
good.
don't want to, because then people are going to ask me questions.
It's good
and then,
feedback. I
But
think
actually,
It is.
you're
That's really good.
are you the Envy from Pwnecast? I'm gonna be like, yeah, and then bitches are gonna fucking bother me.
But you're an intellectual, so.
But I think that's really good, solid feedback, and it's people like you who give good feedback that avoid them implementing stupid fucking shit.
I'm just gonna let somebody else take credit.
Well, I think that's really solid feedback. I agree. I agree. I knew when I put that in the notes that Envy was gonna be like, oh, this hoe.
But no, like I totally get it, right? Like one of my good buds, he plays on North America realms because he doesn't like the stigmatism on playing on the oceanic realms that he gets. So he plays on North America realms with us, and gets into their groups, and you know what? His ping is ass.
Sometimes
His ISP is ass at times, and he's DC'd in dungeons, and it's just like, well, fuck.
And your whole life is ruined.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that next week, though, because I think that's probably one that I'm going to try to push Envy to post his reply on that forum. So I think that's a really good one.
Go ahead and type up something.
I think that's a really good one. So let's do Week in WoW real quick. There's a ton of content that we did not get to, but it's really great because I already have half the notes for next show already. So, Rem, what did you do this week in WoW? Well, 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks in WoW because it's in between each.
Well, these past 4 weeks in WoW.
Wow, that was some shade.
This last month. Last month in WoW.
Last week I did finish all my 15 mythics, so I'm super proud of that. On Shadow Priest, which is hard to pug if you haven't done that. I don't suggest it. I got to. I'm kind of embarrassed by this, but I finally got 1750 achievement in 3s and 2s. So there's that. But yeah, I've been just doing a lot of stuff and a lot of things.
You sound like you have the corona.
My sinuses started.
Sounds like corona. I feel like you should.
Definitely the Rona.
Probably. I'll go smoke to get rid of it.
Self-quarantine. Envy, what did you do this week in the World of Warcrafts? Or month, whatever.
Well, I also got my all 15s in time before Rem, of course.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, Envy did get it before me because he pugged more than I did.
Because it's important. Did some PvP this week. Capped out Conquest. Last week, shitting myself, got Mythic Wrath down. That was fun as fuck, but that fucking raid broke up, so...
Oh, rip.
We got Nyalothon farm now. We after we killed Nazoth the first time, we one-shotted Nazoth the second and third time. That was pretty fun. We're clearing it in the night. Just mainly mythics and running fun runs with the guild, which is hilarious.
Because Heath is usually drunk.
Oh, fuck. You know, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I had a coming moment, Jesus. 2 weeks ago, we were going to have the show, right? Or at least we thought. And then Belle comes out and says, "Hey, we're not doing the show."
I just didn't want to. I literally was laying in bed and I was like, I don't fucking want to.
I had a jar, and for those of you who drink it, Old Smoky Moonshine, they make this fruit punch one. I killed that whole jar by myself. It was shitty Alex's birthday that day, but because of Corona, we couldn't hang out. So I tried FaceTiming him for a shot. Motherfucker wasn't there. Me being me, I needed my shot. I called Rem. Rem and I had a shot. Then I drunk called your husband, Belle, and I blacked out. I woke up the following day with a massive hangover. Evidently, I was laying on the grass outside, having a coming to Jesus moment.
Oh, is that when I was in the tub?
Probably. I was gone that day. It was glorious.
So to answer, Blood, your question, we can't really give you a solid answer because it's the very beginning of alpha. We're going to see about 11 million iterations of a class.
Yeah, new spells are slow more progress. They're not going to do number tuning for ever. So it's...
Play what's fun for you. Don't worry about what's viable. Just have a backup. So have two. It's good if you play a class that has a second spec that you like. But it's telling you what's viable is a lie, and it's a snug hug that will get ripped out from under you at the next hotfix. So play what is fun for you. If you like fucking ripping people apart as melee, then be melee. If you like dropping dots on people, then Fire Mage and Affliction Lock is for you. If you like being fucking awesome and ripping fucking huge crit chaos bolts and getting someone's health down, then Destro is for you. Like, it's specific to what is fun for you. Don't play the flavor of the week because you'll be disappointed next week when Blizzard nerfs it.
And a good example, so as someone who, you know,
I do, Karen. Thank you.
all 4 of us here are AOTC raiders. Some of us here push high mythic keys.
Three of us.
Yeah, I
3
don't
of
push
us.
high mythic keys.
And
I push
anyway,
low mythic
and
knots.
I can't stress that enough. What Belle has said, like, play what's fun for you is what really matters. Because if you look at, like, if you're a tank, right? The number 1 tank in Mythic Plus right now is Andy Brew. Brewmaster is not the meta at all for Mythic Plus. Andy is just that fucking good at Brewmaster because that's what he enjoys and that's what he plays. And so for me in Raid, you know, like, even for Shadowlands, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I want to play. Like, what's fun for me? I want to play what's fun for me, regardless if it's meta or not, right? Right now, Mythic Plus, I'm playing a shit ton of Havoc Demon Hunter because it's fun. It's something I know I can play.
Well,
with my eyes
and it's
closed.
also the flavor of the week in everything that they do.
But I've had my Demon Hunter. Like, I've played my Demon Hunter. I mained it in Legion. I mained
Back
it
when Illidan was still in prison?
Yeah, dude, fucking Illidan is the man. But and I played it most of, you know, like, I mained it the first half
Did you
of
just say
BFA too.
tanks in PvP? Because I'm going to need you to fuck out of here, Will.
I've been doing my arenas with the Blood DK, and it is.
You've been doing what?
Yeah, one of my best friends is a Blood DK. We both need conflict and strife, so we just go and do 2s.
You do. Oh, his camera's off.
I turned it off.
Oh, Jesus.
You are in timeout, Brew.
Can you turn off my camera for 5 minutes?
You're in timeout. You can turn it back on now. It won't let me turn it back on. Now your guys' boxes are swapped, and I'm not even sorry. You're in timeout. You bring dishonor on yourself. You bring dishonor on your family.
And your cow.
You have dishonor. No, that's gonna be
But
very racist. Never mind.
Play what's fun, right?
Well,
Like,
Angie, listening to me, you already knew that was going to happen anyway. So,
you know, some of the best players that I know, like,
are blood DKs in arenas?
no,
Oh.
I was going to say one of the best tanks I have met in my entire life is a Guardian Druid. Like,
I knew a
and,
good.
like,
What was our Guardian Druid? He was a Guardian Druid when it wasn't cool to be Guardian Druids.
Yeah, so one thing I always, when someone ever asks me, like, oh, what class should I play, it's, I never play something that's really meta. I always stick to Shadow Priest.
yeah.
Like, I mean...
That was that one time you were a
I
hunter.
enjoy it. Well, because we had to have a base hitter in PvP.
I think the classes that you're playing currently, Blood, like Shaman has always been one that it's fun for a variety of reasons. Warriors are always super fun too. My Ginger loves playing Warriors, honestly. Demon Hunters are fun just to be something different. I wouldn't play a Rogue.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy Rogue.
I'm racist against rogues, though. Everyone will tell you that I'm racist.
I enjoy tanking. I can play almost any take at least an AOTC level and push at 12s or higher on most tanks. And I mean, the only one I really don't play is Guardian because to me, like, I find Guardian very boring. That's like the only reason I don't play it. I have a 120 Guardian Druid. I just don't ever play him.
Pick the class in spec for PvP. Pick the one that speaks most to you. Like, which one, like, what speaks to your soul? Because that's going to be the one that's going to be the most fun, and it allows you to continue playing even through nerfs. But we can chat offline about that, and we could chat about that next week as well. And you could hop into the Discord, and I'm sure we all have tons of opinions that we love to throw at you and shove down your throat. Me specifically.
Yeah.
For me, I actually had weeks in WoW. Not every day, guys. Let's not get crazy. But I PvP'd. I PvP'd some more. I arena'd. PvP'd some more. PvP'd some more. I'm currently working on the putting together kind of a... a lot of things are going to change between now and Shadowlands, but I'm laying the foundation for RBGs, which will be what my focus it will be in Shadowlands. I haven't done that in a really long time, and it's time. I have a few people who have already messaged me that they are going to begin leveling and gearing when they heard that that's what I was going to be doing, old friends, and it's really exciting. So if you are a PvPer, and that's going to be your jam in Shadowlands, and you're interested in RBGs and you know what the EFC is, send me a message on Twitter, send me a message on Discord, let me know the happenings. You do not have to be in my guild to be on the RBG team, though it is better when we all have the same tag. So, yeah, hit me up because that's what's crapping it. But that's been me, PvP. Living the life, living La Vida Loca. And I want to tell you that it's really fun when you run in with a group of people because Rem and the Ginger and I basically like dominate an entire freaking battleground most of the time. Right? Right. I feel like Rem wants to say something.
Yeah. No, if you looked at your phone, you would know.
You have to pee. I know. That's why I am shutting down the show.
I'm dying.
So, with that being said, guys, we've had a longer show than I intended, and I apologize. Actually, it's only 15 minutes over the normal time. We have a lot of stuff to catch up on the next episode because I missed a lot of stuff. But I love you all, and that's it.
As Fiona saying,
What did you just say? He's got the corona.
my allergies are kicking in.
Don't blame it on allergies. You were snorting cork. God damn it. Snorting coke in the bathroom. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was. Your face is looking especially glossy. Are you sweating?
Me?
Both
No.
of you, really. I'm sweating. Snorting cork. That's right. That's the new... Guys, I'm really hungry. I'm like super starving. I'm really sad that Rem turned off or closed his door because the other day...
You heard him.
I'm pretty sure I think I heard him. He'll come out and correct me if I was wrong. Because I think his stuff was moved by the other side and I think I heard him. Do you suppose he like... Do you think he's going number 1 or number 2?
Definitely one.
Definitely 1? With maybe a possibility of a 2 and maybe a 3?
For dudes, if we're taking a shit, we're gonna do number 1 as well.
Yeah.
We're efficient.
That's efficient AF. In other news, I clogged my toilet earlier and it's not what you think.
Damn, is that why you got the swamp ass?
No, hey, the Pwnecast logo is a fucking household brand, bro. The toilet ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was scrubbing the inside and I flushed the toilet because it's... Somehow my hand pushed the button and the top of it fell in and I tried to like use the wand to grab it. I thought, okay, it took it, so it's fine. Like, it's going to be fine. It totally flushed it. And then I went number 1 an hour later and the toilet paper wouldn't go down. I was like...
R.I.P. Oh, man.
R.I.P. I was waiting for Rem before I actually stopped streaming, but...
I know that Gabe is hurt. I know that Envy's heard the story. I think Donovan has too. I don't know if I've told you this story, Belle. So earlier this year, we were Taylor's parents went away, so we were watching her little brother who's like 17. So we had him for a week.
You were watching him. He's 17. What were you watching?
I don't know. They didn't want him to be bored alone.
Just supervision, like not like babysitting, but like, you know.
Yeah. He came and stayed with us for a week.
Got it.
And motherfucker, like I'm at work, Taylor's at work, so he goes and like the dog had an accident, the dog shit in the house or peed or something, and so he pulls out the Swiffer, cleans it up, and I'm like, I come home one day and just like the whole basement is it's like flooded.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't unclog it, like, with my snake and anything, so I ended up calling a plumber. The plumber pulls out wads of Swiffer pads because he was cleaning up the accident and flushing it.
Oh, that's why he needed parental supervision.
That's like finding a knife in your toilet.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Holy shit.
So
You found a knife in your toilet?
no,
No.
it was Alex.
No,
Shitty.
it was shitty.
So I get a phone call from Alex, and he's just laughing his ass off. And he's like, dude, did you get the text message? I look at my phone, picture message. There's a steak knife in the shitter, right? There's a steak knife, just, steak knife in the shitter. And I'm like, one of the first questions I had, I'm like, was somebody murdered in here? Was there a crime in your house before
But were you eating
bodies...
steak when you were doing number 2?
No, so
Also-
he snaked
also-
it out of the bend, like.
But so he paid for he had a plumber come over, right? And they ran a snake and pulled out a ton of paper, and the plumber's just like, yeah, this was it. So okay, cool. He goes to use a bathroom again, the damn thing won't flush right, so he goes to snake it, right? He pulls out clogs of paper, right? And he pulls out something silver, right? Something from the bend is something shiny from the bend is coming out. And he's like, what the fuck? He snakes it some more. Knife. And I'm like, we're convinced that somebody died in his house.
Yeah.
Or a crime was committed.
Who was in his house that would have...
It was like
it
the
a
previous
girlfriend?
owners.
the previous owners.
Dude, this
suspect.
was like right around the Super Bowl
Oh.
too, and we were just like, dude, like, what kind of party did you have, man?
There could have been a dead body. They were flushing the fucking evidence.
Yeah.
And as much pee and poo went through there, it done washed away all the evidence anyway, because that shit's like acid.
Well, water anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not blood. I don't know forensics, so.
That's probably the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Dude, I've seen so many episodes of Forensic Files when I'm like stoned and bored and shit. They'll find semen on the fucking knife for sure. Like, how the fuck did you find the semen? It wasn't the toilet. We found semen.
Voodoo.
It's like, oh, we determined the murder. I'm stealing Dave Chappelle's joke here. Oh, we found the murderer. We found the semen. Where was it? Under the oven.
What?
It was one of his earlier stand-up bits. It was hilarious.
I watched him in something recently.
Like, you ever notice that, like, another Chappelle joke? You ever notice that, like, investigators walk in, and the moment they walk in, they're just like, oh! Yep, semen. That's the first thing they look
It's
for.
like they smell it.
It's like exactly his point. Like, how the fuck do they find it? Do they just walk in and, like, I have to do the motion? Do they just walk in like... semen!
Sadly, everyone else didn't get to see that because it's just the
Holy
straight background, but it was glorious, guys. You
I don't
missed.
care. It was awesome.
It
Come
was,
in like fucking
It was-
dogs,
Most-
sniff that shit out.
It was almost as good as Frieza not knowing I was recording, and he was backing that thing up in his kitchen while he was making pizza, and he did like this booty bump, and I happened to be recording, so that went on the internet naturally.
It's almost as good as, like, you know, getting up and getting your shorts caught on the chair.
Okay, before we go officially, because I got to go get something to eat. So there was this one time, not at band camp, I wear basketball shorts every day. Well, my beautiful method chair, my pocket on my basketball short caught in the arm when I was getting up and it pulled my pants down. It just so happened I was on Zoom. I don't think anyone else, maybe someone saw it and they just pretended like they didn't because they didn't want me to be embarrassed. At this point, I don't have any shame, right? So there's no being concerned or worried that you're gonna embarrass me. What?
I just remembered. Ah, fuck. I hope there's a recording of it. I missed on the Andy Serkis reading.
What? Okay, guys,
Oh, he reads it.
we're officially heading out. Love you, bye.